Start recording. Okay. Whew. The roller coaster ride continues. Um, Good morning. Would anybody like to ask me a question?
So far, so good.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, I have a lot of questions for you.
Oh, actually, no, I do have a question, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Have we actually started any kind of need to do a homework or any kind of classwork that I need to catch up on, seeing that I kind of got in here a little bit late
Yes.
for the
Yes
last
and
2 days?
yes.
Okay.
So glad you're here. It's okay that you're a little bit late. But what I guess I don't know. Deb or
Nice thing
Doug.
is that I actually took your class before, so
Oh, so you know the drill.
a little bit, not too much. It's been 4 or 5 years, so
Okay. But as far as Discord and streaming and videos and recording and all that stuff?
yeah.
Oh, okay, good. Because I was just about to ask Deb or Isabella to explain that. But okay, you know that. Uh,
Mhm.
wow, she got this like freaky paranoid look on her face. I didn't mean to
It's just-
scare you.
He's like, "Don't put me on the spot."
So did I.
Uh, um, okay, so with that in place, then I'm going to say, and I will answer your question, but you know then that I'll answer a question, but it may take a while.
Yeah, that's fine.
Um, so as I was thinking about what was going to happen this morning, um, I have I'm doing this personal thing where I set a timer for like 2 hours. And when that timer goes off, I have to stop whatever I'm doing and do something else. Because as you know, I get caught up into rabbit holes and I can spend hours, days, weeks, months, obsessing about something and nothing else. So you've seen that happen in here where,
Oh yeah.
yeah,
You can go.
for,
You can go for a bit.
yeah, one question turns into an hour. So anyhow,
There's nothing wrong with that.
I'm thinking for us here, maybe let's try like 20 minutes. Okay. So everybody, set a timer on your phone or device for 20 minutes. And let me know when it goes off if I don't hear it. Like that. And we will force ourselves to switch gears. We can always come back to something, but that way we can get more things covered. 20 minutes. And I'll go with whatever time frame anybody else thinks. And we can adjust it if it works. Okay.
20 in 3, 2, 1.
Okay. 20 minutes to discuss possibly the code challenge inner workings or maybe the code challenge usage. And this is actually getting to Micaiah's question about assignments. So when I was mentioning it the other day, there seemed to be some interest in how that thing actually works, what I did to make that work. And as I thought about it afterwards, I thought, hey, it's not only is it a tool that we can use here, but it's a great example of how some of this stuff is done. But it is Pandora's box. It's going to lead us into a lot of things. So maybe I'll take my cue from you. Do you want to go over the usage of it or the inner workings of it? As I'm saying this, I'm kind of thinking maybe the usage that's more directly applicable to the question that most people have at hand. What do you think? Going once? Going twice? Okay, we're
I'm
sold on
sorry,
the
was that a
usage.
question for me?
So, as far as the usage of it, what we hopefully know now is to open a browser. By the way, I created a profile brand new so that hopefully any of my past will not show up in our searches and things. But anyhow, so I'm going to go to joesta.com. And again, I said this the other day, I'll reiterate. As far as like the inner workings of it, that splash screen that comes up, that's pretty dark, and then it goes blank for a while. I need myself to figure out some things there and do some things with that. But basically, here's the idea. At joesta.com, there's a web browser that returns this page. Okay. And you've got two buttons. Oh, I should say that you can do the light mode or dark mode thing on that. And I know some people have preferences for one or the other. You can tell I prefer dark mode, but anyhow, there's two buttons here to get a challenge. Okay. And we see that the first, oh, I already did this. So up until last night, there was only one challenge. And even if you passed it, you didn't get the next one. But as of last night, there are more challenges available now. And so I guess I'll do it this way first and say that, so you get the challenge, and here's the level for it. The first one is 2000, next one's 2005. Don't worry about the numbers too much, other than they're sequential. But this is telling you what to do. You need to write a Python script to accept an input value from standard in, assume that the value represents a name, write to standard out the string, literally, this is a quotation mark, literally hello, comma, space, followed by the name that was input. Okay. Now, one thing I'll stop right here and say is that there may be things in there that don't make sense to you. Okay. And my job, my intent is to describe everything you need to know to do that before you have to do the challenge. Okay. That makes sense? So don't feel like you have to do one of these if I haven't talked about something. And better yet, ask the question. Hey, what the heck is this stdin thing all about? Or, what's a format string, or any of those kind of questions? Feel free to ask them in the Discord or now. And I will gladly go over those. But somehow,
question. What's the stdin mean?
I feel like I mentioned this briefly, but probably ever so briefly yesterday. It is the standard input device. Did I talk about processes yesterday? Or am I making this up? I may have just done it in my head. Okay, don't worry.
I wrote down a lot of notes, but I don't remember every line I wrote, or there was a lot yesterday.
Oh,
I don't remember.
Well, you see, there you go. That's a great problem.
I have to go back and review my notes.
And I have a solution for that. I have another rule. So I have some rules. Did I put them in here? Yeah. Like never use a word or form of the word in its own definition. We now know about just and not using that word, or at least, kind of like that. And that you're not allowed to bang your head 3 times. If you need any clarification on those rules, by all means, post it in Discord. We can discuss it.
That's awesome.
There's no need for stress or anxiety in here. Undo. We need a little bit to motivate us, but beyond that, not. Okay. Anyhow, what was I just going to do? I was going to say was it another rule?
Talking about.
Was it about notes?
Yeah.
Notes.
No,
yeah.
the notes, and I know you don't like sorry.
Oh, yeah. That's not a 4-letter word, but yeah. There's no need to ever be sorry about anything in here. It's just, if something doesn't work, or maybe you said something or did something. Look at me. I say do things all the time that I, think, should I have done that? No, don't feel bad about anything. Even asking the same question again and again. I don't mind answering the same question over and over. Eventually I'll probably say, let's do it in Discord, but I guess it was probably something like ask questions, because we're talking about these words that we don't know necessarily. And then you said something about notes, and I said, organization is a problem, but Isabella will tell you that we just had a conversation before all of this where I said that organization is not my strong suit. I would be a horrible instructor in organizational skills. So I leave that up to you. But I am trying things like the timer thing and so forth. Gosh, what was it? Why did I go back to rules? I don't know. But at any rate, standard in, did I say it? I think the bottom line of that probably is just ask questions. about anything. I'm going to keep going. It'll come back to me there. Like, for example, there's some bullets here, like you're only allowed to use the input and print built-ins. And I would fully expect that everybody's going to be like, what in the heck does that mean? What's input, what's print, and what is a built-in? Like that. No user-defined functions. What in the heck does that mean? No imports. What does that mean? I don't know. Well, we're going to discuss all those things. As much as I said that I was not going to go into the inner workings and I was going to try to do one thing at a time, to really show what I need to show, I can't help myself. So I'm going to come over here to, I'll try to be brief again, because all these things we can come back to them again and again and again, deeper and deeper. But I am bringing up a program called Putty, which is a terminal emulator that speaks SSH amongst some other protocols. SSH secure shell. And I'm going to, essentially, I'm logging into that virtual private server that I have that is hosting Joe's TA. So I'm going to log in here. No.
I have a question.
Yes, please.
I just logged into Joe's TA, and I had to repeat the first challenge.
Mm-hmm.
Is that going to happen every time? So we'll have to save all of our answers and re-input them each time?
No, that'll only happen the first time.
Okay.
After last night, no, that's not going to happen again. Now, what I would say, a couple of things is, one, first of all, you sound a little bit muffled today.
I'm using my cell phone instead of my computer.
Oh, okay. That sounded much better, much more clear. Second thing is, I would recommend saving all of the files that you create for the challenges, but that's up to you. But it might be, you might want to look back at them someday or something like that. Yeah. So, okay. Again, I'll explain all these things as much as you want later, but I've logged into this remote server here, and I am going to change directory to a folder I called Code Challenge, where I have this code for this. And I'm going to have to talk, one of these days, I'm going to talk about Python in virtual environments. But for the moment, I'm going to say source, which is a Unix command, Unixy Linux command, to run a file. And I'm going to specify the path. So this is something that I know Deb and I talked about paths and stuff at the end of the last class. So it's in the recording there, kind of thing. Okay, but I'm specifying a path. So VNV is a folder name followed by a path separator character, which is a / a / since I'm on a Unix environment. And then I'm going to do bin, short for binary. Again, that's a Unixy kind of thing. Basically, binaries are what they call executables. Or what other people call executables they call binaries. And then I'm going to run a file, because there's no / after that, called activate. That is going to do some stuff behind the scenes that we will look at, and we will find out exactly what it does behind the scenes. But spoiler, I was just talking about getting into a virtual environment, and you're like, I don't know what the heck you're talking about there. But I also talked the other day about environment variables and how processes with an operating system have environments. We're talking about two slightly different but related things here. File that away, ignore it. Anyhow, now that I'm in an environment where I can interact with this code, yeah. Any questions? Okay, then if you feel free to stop, feel free to ask me at any time what in the heck you talking about, or explain something more. Otherwise, I'm going to try my best to just skim the surface here, and like I said, we'll come back to this stuff again and again. Uh, okay, so I've done this, which means now I have an SQL database, a relational database that holds all the data for this thing. So if I said, for example, SQLite 3, which is the name of the database package I'm using, side reference, sidebar to a post I made this morning in one of the forums relating to databases. Remind me, I can go to that at some point, but I'm not going to do it right now. And so I'm running the program called SQLite 3, and I am giving it an argument, an argument of code challenge.db. That is the file name of the database that I want it to use to open up. And again, this command line stuff, I say this because this is stuff that we need to get familiar with. We may or may not be at this point. At any rate, everybody is like, oh, I see a prompt. It's not the same prompt that I had up here because this is a bash prompt. This is a shell prompt or terminal prompt on my GNU Linux system, and this is an SQLite prompt. So this is saying the SQLite program. It's an interpreter. It's saying it's ready for something. And the first thing I can do is I can say dot table. Now I have to spell it right. It's a relational database. Relational databases store data in tables, can I assume that everybody's familiar with spreadsheets?
Yeah, for most part.
Specifically Excel or just any spreadsheet?
I'm sorry, say it again.
I'm very familiar with Excel.
Okay. So Excel is a particular spreadsheet program, much like, and there's a ton of them out there. Google calls it Sheets. If you go to Google Drive and your Google account, you have Sheets. Microsoft has Excel. LibreOffice has, I think it's called Calc kind of thing. I should know that because I use it all the time. But anyhow, yeah. But let's clear it up. What is a spreadsheet? Generically, the everyday, Excel is kind of like Kleenex, I guess. It's a brand that everybody uses to mean spreadsheet. But the question is, what is a spreadsheet?
It's like a collection of numbers that mean something.
Is it a collection
Table
of numbers?
for information.
Say it again, Deb.
I would say it's a table for information, and you can use it. I mean, you could make a document. I know people that use spreadsheets for absolutely everything. They don't use Word documents. They do it for forms and flyers, but also to collect data and numbers, and this is kind of a use all.
So, Isabella suggested, it's a collection of numbers, I think you said? And I would say yes, but not limited to numbers. Okay, so it's a collection of data. And then, as Deb was suggesting, that data is organized into tables. Of course, what's a table? How do you recognize a table when you see one? Rows and columns. So we're not talking about like the kitchen table, a data table. So it's organized in rows and columns. And you can specify relationships between the columns. You can do calculations on values in the cells in the intersection of a row and a column with a spreadsheet. And as Deb said, people use them for everything. We have a local company here. You might recognize the name Corning Incorporated. And I have some friends that work there, and I routinely, I don't know about routinely, it's not unusual that I'll get questions from them, an email saying, hey, something doesn't work in their spreadsheet or whatever.
Oh,
They
yeah.
use...
I worked there for about 2 years in the IT department. It's really bad.
Yeah, they use spreadsheets for everything, and some are
Everything.
pretty complicated and so forth. And I've almost given up, but I will never give up. I'm like, you know, you
It's
really
always
ought
fun when someone accidentally changes one character in a very complicated thread of formula, and you have to figure out that one. And it's you got to find the tab, you got to find the cell, you got to find yeah. That's always fun.
So and so anybody else, you can ask, Michaela,
Mhm.
that Micaiah.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
I almost put an L in there for some reason. Anyhow,
It's
anybody.
all right. I still would have said yeah.
That's like me. I say I answer to anything.
Yeah, it's fine with me.
If I will warn you, if you ever refer to me as Mr. Oppenheim, I will turn around and look for my dad. Anyhow, yeah. So if anybody isn't sure what we're talking about here, just send a message, and Micaiah and Deb at least can tell you about spreadsheets and how they're used and abused, and all that kind of stuff. But anyhow, so the one solution to that problem is a database. And that's why I was saying, I routinely tell my friends, I'm like, dude, you really ought to be using a database, not a spreadsheet for this.
Ooh, that reminds me. There are people who attempt to use Excel as a database. Excel is not a database. Although people will attempt to use it as one.
I should put that. Oh my gosh.
You use Access for so many things, and like nobody else did. So I had to end up just kind of using and abusing and kind of locking cells because nobody could learn Access. So I had to use Excel and then just learn how to put passwords on everything.
That's the
Okay,
nice
so
thing
now
about Excel. It will let you do some things like that are kind of database adjacent, but
I was going to I was going to come back to that in a moment when you said Excel is, or I think you said Access is not a database.
oh no, I was talking about Excel.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, Excel is not a database, because then the question is, well, is Access a database? And I'm going to steal your term and say, I mean, it is, but I would actually like to consider it more database adjacent. Because it's not the greatest
Oh yeah.
database. Access is a Microsoft Office module, and so it's okay for some things, especially as beginners, but it's not very good in production. In fact, Microsoft has something called SQL Server, that is the more professional solution. Is that 20 minutes already?
Yes.
Dang! Well, since I have to change, I was going to come over here too. I posted something this morning. I think it's over. Yes. I was thinking about some of the things we've been talking about here, and we need Martin. Martin, when you're watching the video later, you can chime in here. But we're here at CCC. This is your new experience, and this is where I assume everybody has spreadsheets. Because you're here, you learned about this thing called Banner and Brightspace and now Joe's TA kind of thing. All of those are companies or products kind of thing. So I have a philosophy. Oh, I need to put a.
Want me to set the timer?
Oh yes, restart the timer. Thank you.
I was wondering. All right, it started again.
Yeah, but
Sorry,
that should be an automatic
because
restart.
I was supposed to do it again. Yeah, no. All right, 1 minute so good.
Glad you asked. So I have a philosophy that if you're going to be part of a group or an organization, whether it's paid or volunteer or hobby or whatever, that you have a responsibility to know something about the organization, to learn about that organization. So since you're here at CCC, you have a responsibility to learn something about the college and how it works. And so, there's this thing called Banner, but what in the heck is that? And so Banner is a product of a company called Ellucian. And then, what is Ellucian? And you can go to the web. I'm not going to do it because now I'm feeling time's me. Open up your browser, search for Ellucian. It's a company that makes products for higher education. Okay. And specifically, they make products that are referred to as ERP, Enterprise Resource. Uh, ERP. Yeah. Um, Acronyms. Okay, now I've got to go to the web. um, Enterprise Resource. Gosh, ERP. Planning. Enterprise Resource Planning products. And by the way, as long as I'm here, then let's say Lucian. Yeah. Unifying campus technology. Blah 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 blah. Okay, that's them. You can look at. And as long as I'm on this track, I'm going to say that there is this other thing that we call SAP. And I don't know, Micaiah, Deb, have you come across these terms?
SAP for sure.
Okay, yeah. Systems, applications, and products and data processing. And let's see if I'm here. Let's see, ERP, SAP. BI, business intelligence. Is that a thing for any of you?
No, but I would agree it's with SAP, just not BI.
I missed something.
Did you forget the LMS or the DBMS or the
Oh
D2L?
yeah. Okay. So
D2L?
like I said, I just dumped my brain here this morning a little bit, and in the forum, so there can be discussion. But this is the connection here. So yeah, Banner is a product of a company called Lucian. Brightspace is a product of a company called D2L. Joe's TA is a product of a company called Joe's TA, I guess. And Banner is one of these enterprise resource planning products. SAP, that will lead you to SAP, because ERP is kind of like hierarchically a little bit bigger, and SAP is a part of that, and business intelligence is a part of that. All of these things, including Banner, Brightspace, and Joe's TA, all rely upon a database management system, okay, instead of spreadsheets. And so the premier companies in the database world are Oracle, and there's Microsoft SQL Server, but there's also MySQL and Postgre. We mentioned the other day, so I'm going to feel free unless somebody suggests, unless somebody asks a question, that I mentioned the words open source and proprietary, and we all know what that means now.
Mm-hmm.
Again, if not, post a question. We need to get these things clarified. But Oracle and Microsoft are big proprietary companies. MySQL and Postgre are open source solutions to the database world. Basically, they provide us with a database, specifically relational databases. And yeah. So anyhow, coming back to over here, where was I at? I was at, no, I'll get there. Yeah, okay. We doing okay? I don't know if it was 20 minutes or not, but I'm going to come back here. I got to get better at this.
You're right, Alan, but it's fine. It's only been 5 minutes.
It was a great plan. Yeah.
You gave yourself too little a time limit.
So if you're following any of this, and like I said, we're just skimming the surface here. That's all. I've logged into my virtual private server, a remote machine. I've gone into a Python virtual environment. I have SQLite 3 is bundled in with Python automatically. That's how, but it's a very, 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 very light database management system, kind of like Access is to other things. Although I know I'm going to get a lot of flack and people are going to shoot me for comparing Access and SQLite. I can take it. But I suppose there ought to be a question. SQL. Does that mean anything to anybody?
No.
It's an acronym. Again, we're flooded with acronyms. Get them out of the way. It stands for Structured Query Language. Some people pronounce it SQL. Some people pronounce it SQL. Okay, I'll take either one. I'll probably do it both ways, my chain.
Structured query language.
Structured Query Language. Yep. So, we get to play the game now. What does structured mean? Everyday language.
Structured's like an organization or a set of ways. Like it's just organizing.
Yes,
It's
yeah.
the way things are-
Organized
Yeah.
as opposed to chaotic. Yeah, love it. Okay. Query.
In this context, I don't know.
How about in any context? The general notion
Okay,
of can you use the word query in a sentence that has nothing to do with it?
Yes, but not for this.
That's
I'll
okay.
Query of it like a kind of like a diamond mine sort of thing.
Okay, so use the word query in a sentence that has nothing to do with the stuff we're talking about. Go ahead.
Oh, me?
You or anybody else can chime in.
Like a diamond query is like a huge, it's like a huge hole in the ground where that's connected to a bunch of diamond mines. That's where I'm thinking of it, like the giant limestone. Query.
Oh,
yeah, like
oh,
that.
okay.
That's the only reason I know the word query. I don't even think I spelled it right.
oh,
I wanted to say to inquire, but that's using a word for a word, so I.
Even then, I don't think
Okay,
that's
I've got the problem here. I think the problem is I am saying query, and I think you were hearing me say quarry,
Oh.
which would be a hole in the ground where you mine and dig stuff. Okay, I'm saying
Also
query.
heard the latter.
What's that, Joe?
I also thought you meant the ladder, like with the rocks and stuff, and I was also a little confused.
I heard, I get it. I heard query, but when I was guessing it was spelled Quarry because I didn't know how it was spelled. I'm writing things down, but even then, in this context, the only thing I know of a query, in that sense, is like a question.
Yes. Okay. Now we're there.
Okay, sorry. No, in this context, the only thing I know is a question.
Now, as Deb pointed out, I think it was Deb was pointed out a minute ago, the only way she could think of to answer what does query mean is to say question. It's a question, and it is. But that violates the rule of using a word or form of the word. So basically, a query is to ask something. Okay. So how about language?
It's how we communicate. We've had this one before.
Yes.
It's how we talk. It's how we communicate.
So the whole point of this thing was we were talking about SQL. Structured Query Language. So it's a way to communicate asking something in a organized manner. Okay. And again, I'll make a note here. Some people actually pronounce this as SQL. Okay. Well, I mean, I think okay. Is everybody okay with this?
Yeah.
Okay. As always, just stop me, slow me down, whatever. So I am now in this program that understands and speaks SQL. And one of the things we want to do, it's not a requirement for the course, but we should probably do it anyhow, learn how to speak a little bit of SQL. And so what I did here, this is technically not SQL, but in SQLite, we have dot commands. So when it sees something starting with a dot, it says, okay, that's a command for me. It's not SQL because SQL statements will not start with a dot. But so when SQLite, when you say dot table, it returns a list of the tables, remember rows and columns, in this database. And so I have a table called attempt. Now, what data do you suppose would be in a table called attempt? This is, by the way, this is a code challenge thing.
It's probably any of our submissions, like our answer submissions, because that's our attempt.
Exactly. So I keep a record of all your attempts. And if something goes wrong, we can go back and we can look at it. So what I can do is I can say something like select asterisk is a star, a wild card. That's a common thing we find in other areas around in this technology stuff too, where this idea of wildcards, star, question mark, or common symbols for that. Basically, I'm saying everything, select everything from, and I could be a little more clear. SQLite is not case sensitive. Okay? Whether you use uppercase or lowercase letters, in most cases doesn't matter, especially for keywords. But what you will find is it's fairly common convention. The SQL keywords, the vocabulary of SQL, we tend to put in uppercase. Okay, do it either way. I'll try to do it this way to point out that select is a keyword in the SQL language. You can't use it for other things. Don't use it for like the name of a table or something. Okay, it's a keyword, a reserved word in the language. And I'm doing what I would call a select query, where I'm going to select or ask for information from the database. Okay, so I'm going to say select all the information from another keyword, some table, like attempt. Okay. And then I'm going to end that line, that command line, if you will, that SQL statement with a semicolon. And the semicolon is a special character, so the SQL knows that's the end of the statement. Don't expect more. There are a lot of other clauses that we could put in here to do sorting of things and joining of things, blah, blah, blah. Okay, but for the moment, here's a simplest query I can think of. Select everything from attempt, and there it is. And I don't think I'm giving anything away, I guess. Think about this.
So the backslash is used to show the end of a file location, but the semicolon is used to show the end of a command. Is that what that is?
Yes. But those are also in two different contexts. So the slash as a path separator character applies when we're dealing with file systems. Paths to files and folders in a file system. And there, the slash, be it forward or backward, is a special character. In other words, you try it sometime. Try to create a file or a folder on your computer using a slash in the name. It won't let you do it.
Yeah, it won't.
Yeah, because it's a special character. It's reserved to have a special purpose. Okay. What we find is in some languages, notably C, which is like almost the mother of all languages these days. Okay, C's been around for a very long time and started all this. And it carries over to, you can do it in Python. I'll talk more about that. JavaScript, Java, all kinds of languages where the semicolon is used as a statement terminator. Okay, for anybody else in the world, you would say, oh, you mean the period at the end of a sentence. Yes. In English, natural language, we put a period at the end of a sentence, a statement, and it's not uncommon in computer languages to use a semicolon instead of a period. And we just saw that, like in SQLite, the period is used for something else. The period is used to say, oh, one of my internal commands, like table or .schema. In a schema, anybody come across this before? A schema, you can think schematic, is the pattern of the organization. Okay. So if I say schema, .schema attempt, because it's a SQLite command, I don't include the semicolon. Semicolons only apply to SQL statements. Basically, those are the two things at the moment. I can give SQLite either a dot command or an SQL statement. And so when I said, hey, schema attempt, SQLite came back to, oh, okay, here, let me show you how this table called attempt is organized. And this is actually the SQL statement that was used to create it. So we now know that create is a keyword in SQL. So this is a create query. And we can create lots of things, but what we're going to specifically do is create a table, named attempt, and then in parentheses are the fields,
I see.
which in table terminology, if you're thinking like spreadsheet, you have rows and columns. In the database world, we still have these tables, but we call them records and fields. Record is what you're thinking of a row, field is a column. And you're probably like, why in the heck couldn't we just call them rows and columns? And it is confusing initially, but there is a good reason for it. Because if I say row and column, if I'm talking about a table of data and I say row and column, I'm trying to clue you in, help you realize I'm talking in terms of a spreadsheet. But when I talk about records and fields, then I'm letting you know, oh, I'm talking about a database. You get used to it. It's the lingo of the world, of this world. Okay, so every column, every field in the database. Oh, this is beautiful. Sidebar. Do you remember? I know we did. I know it. I can hear myself saying it. The other day we talked about variables, right? Come on, everybody else except for Micaiah. Micaiah is the only one that's off the hook here. Although I don't know, he might have seen the video. What'd you say?
I was saying crickets.
Because we invoked the rule that from that point forward, whenever you heard the word variable, you would think of three things.
No, that's input outputs.
Oh.
That's input outputs. Stop.
Yes, and Tom and Jerry. Inputs and outputs, truth tables, 1200.
Yeah, that's different. Even I know that.
And I said, this is where they all blur together because this stuff does overlap. Variable, I think we talked about in here in 1240.
Like has a name, has a value, and yeah.
Oh, that is perfect. That is beautiful because you would have definitely come up with the name and the value eventually. In your numbers class, Cam's like, it's coming back now. He tried to block it out, but no. In your number classes, you dealt with variables all the time. X, Y, Z. And you use those as names in place of a value. So at some point in your problem, X could have a value of 3. But then you could add something, you could add 2 to X, and so X would now have a value of 5. Okay? But all you ever dealt with there were numbers. And that's terribly limiting because, much like we said a moment ago with spreadsheets, yes, it could be a collection of numbers, but it could be a collection of all kinds of data, all types of data. And so now we have to be concerned every time we hear about a variable to think about, oh, sure, okay, what's the name of it? Which one? How am I identifying this? In fact, I actually prefer the term identifier. You'll see this in documentation a lot. So how are we identifying this value? And then the other thing that we have to get used to, and it's going to take a while, is the type. What type of value does this name refer to? Does it refer to a number? Does it refer to a word? Does it refer to a database?
Stop. Do it again.
It's a great plan. Okay. Yeah.
Can a string be a valid type?
Yes. Yes.
Cool. That's all.
No, I'll let somebody else ask, what in the heck are you talking about? Why did you come up with the word string and so forth? And if not, I'll get to it in a minute, a few minutes. I think that. Okay. But yeah, the type of value, like I said, numbers and words, letters, characters, strings, as we call them, are two of the most common types. We also have a Boolean type, one of two values, true or false. Those are like the three most common types that we have that all languages support, almost all languages support. And then the beauty is we can start creating our own types as combinations of those. And once we create our own types, we can combine those into other types. And so we can build this whole hierarchy of types, which is what that OOP, object-oriented programming class thing that we mentioned once is all about. A class, when we create a class, we're creating a new type. And I think we created a class, called shoes, maybe? And so we were creating a type of data, a data type called shoe. And that shoe would be a collection of other types, like maybe a number for the size, or maybe a letter for the size if you want to do like a small, medium, large kind of thing. Okay. Coming back to here. So I said, okay, I've got an SQL statement here, a SQL statement. It's a create query. I'm creating a table named attempt. And then parenthetically here, before the end of the statement, I have a comma-separated list of things. And these are all in pairs. And what it is, it's the name of the field and the type of the field. So I'm saying every record in this table called attempt should have a first column field named user ID. And the type of value in that field is a number, an integer, specifically. It should also have a second column field called timestamp. And its value in that field, in that column, should all be text. Letters, characters, words, strings. Followed by a level, that is an integer value, followed by a key that's an integer value, and then followed by a submission field whose value is text. So what you see here is, I'm going to come back up here and pick on this one, this is one of the records in that table called attempt. Because remember, I got this because go back up here. I ran a select query to say select everything from attempt. And so each of these lines is one of the records in the table. And I'll just jump to the end. Doesn't matter. Okay. Actually, I'll go here. Yeah, I'll go here. Okay. So this is one. Whoops. What did I do? Oh, my finger. I hit my button. Let's try this again. Okay. No, not query. Let me select. There we go. Okay. Oh no, I know. Oh, this is beautiful. Bear with me now. Let me come back here to say this query. Okay. This one right here. Okay. Can you make any sense out of that yet? Well, let me give you the schema again for attempt. And so what we see is SQLite is using the vertical bar as a special character separating the values. So in this case, 17 is the value of the user ID, the first column. The second column here is the timestamp, the time when it occurred. We'll deal with date time formats. So, you'll probably recognize this as a date. Okay, this is the time, and you're like, what in the heck time is 0.34 or 9?
5:46. if it goes in a 24-hour clock, like I think
It's a
it
24.
does.
Yep, you're right. You're right. So there's the hour. It's the 19-hour, 46-minute, 58.987 seconds. Why are you laughing? Why are you chuckling?
Oddly specific.
Yeah, so one of the things we also have to get used to is, and this is the beauty of the machine, it's incredibly fast, much faster than you and I. So, you or I, if we tell the time to the nearest second, that's probably more than we usually care about. Maybe if we're running a race or something, maybe hundredths of a second. But the computer can keep track of time to millions, billions of a second. Mind blowing. Imagine 1/1000th of a second. Okay. But the computer can do it. So that's why we have this floating point value there for the time. So after the time, that 0 there, is the value for the level. This 0 is the value for the key. And then the submission text is registration.
It's just early.
I know completely.
I swear, it's just early.
I know completely. It's not only that, it's early and it's just a tremendous volume of stuff. The fire hose is not capable to keep you awake. I understand that completely.
That's what the coffee's for.
Yes. And by the way, I'll reiterate that there's a microwave and a refrigerator and a coffee maker over there in the corner. Everybody's free to use. And that's what keeps me going. Anyhow. So what happened was when you came over here to Joe's TA the first time, you had to register. You had to put in your email address and click register. And then you were sent a one-time code. You get that from your email to verify that you are a CCC student. And then you could set a password. And so what happened is my software created an attempt event, a record in the attempt table for that event of registration. And so now, remember, this is an ID number that is unique to you. And I can now tell when someone registered. Okay. So then what's that?
I was curious, is that user ID tied to a name that we could query?
It is. I will not do that. So yeah, there is some information that's kind of sensitive. Usernames and passwords are stored. Now the password is encrypted, so even if I showed it to you, it doesn't help you out a great deal because it's encrypted. Although all of those of you interested in security, cybersecurity kind of things, we could have some talks because I've made a reasonable attempt, I think, at security, but there's a lot of things I can do more with this, and we should.
I can't remember how to do it, but theoretically, we could SQL inject and pull the data through your website.
Aha. No. That one I've thought enough about that one. However, that does bring up somebody is going to post in one of the channels someplace. What in the heck is this SQL injection thing?
So,
and anybody interested in security, cybersecurity, should definitely know that. That's like 101. Go ahead. Okay.
So basically, you're skirting around. You're basically putting in an input that the system itself would recognize. So, like, you would go in and you would use one of the fields. Like, let's say when you were submitting a challenge, you would basically go ahead and submit actual code that the SQL server would recognize, and you could end up pulling data out because the server would respond to that SQL input.
Yeah. So one of the things that haven't discussed much, um, you are running this code in your browser. There's a totally separate program running on my server. The two are talking to each other. So on my server, I run a program that's a server. It's sitting there waiting, listening, never knowing when somebody's going to try to connect to it. A client is going to connect to it. Right? And it can talk to the database. And the web app here can talk to that program. But I don't allow the web program to talk directly to the database. You have to go through the middleman, and it's the middleman then that can control that. Because in the early days, that's what happened is people would build web pages and things that would talk directly to the database in the back end. And people figured out, well, okay, I'll just send a URL that looks like a SQL statement. And it would execute it and spit it back. And then you could do any SQL command like that. So that's the idea of injecting SQL into a URL, into the web speak. And if there's no middleman there to protect it, it just works. So again, I have what we call an API, an application programming interface. And that specifies the language, the communication between the web browser and my server. If I jump out of here for a second, so I'm going to say .exit, that's a dot command for SQLite. And if I say something like Py, there's our good old Python. Again, this is on my server in the back end, running there. I'm sending Python an argument of this path. That's the name of my program, my server program in the background. And I'm sending an additional argument there of this string status. So what's going to happen is all of this stuff, both of these arguments, get sent to Python. Python takes this argument and treats it as Python code to run. And then it sends this argument into that program.
So basically, I wouldn't be able to do that because there's a middleman that can't interpret what I just wrote.
Correct. Yeah.
And I know you say not to apologize, but I'm sorry for derailing.
Unless someone says, stop that, you shouldn't stop. Like I said, I will reiterate again, though, I understand completely that a lot of most stuff probably is going over your head. But you got to see it, hear it a number of times. And we'll just go over and over in more and more detail before it makes sense. So don't feel it. Please don't be stressed, feeling like, oh, I don't know what's going on. I'm missing something. Now, we're talking about, I mean, there's a lot of these topics that could be an entire semester in themselves. So bear with it. And then, like I said, ask questions. That's the beauty of Discord, is we can hash through more of this stuff anytime we want. Okay, so I basically said, hey, Python, run my program here and pass it the argument of status. And it ran the program, and the program came back and said, status, it's running. Here's the PID, the process identifier for it. And here's the amount of memory it's using right now. This is my bash, which is a particular type of terminal. Okay, so it's basically my terminal, much like I've been using PowerShell on Windows. Okay, it's the CLI that we started talking about. So therefore, the way it works is it sucks up all the characters until you hit enter. That's the end of the command line. The first non-space characters get treated as a command. And the way that most terminals, be it PowerShell or Bash or whatever, work is the command, it says, do I know that internally? Like SQLite knows .table, .schema, and so forth as internal commands. So it says, do I know that as a command? And PowerShell does not understand pi as a command that is built into it, internal to it. So when it doesn't recognize it as a command of its own, what it then does is it goes out to the file system and tries to find a file with that name that is executable. All those criteria have to be met. It has to be able to find the file, so it has to know where to look. It has to find the file that has that exact name, and that file has to be executable. We'll elaborate on other options or alternatives there. But suffice to say that I have my system set up so that it recognizes pi as a file. It can find a file called pi that's an executable. It's the Python interpreter. And so then the rest of the line is space-separated arguments. And the first argument here is, by default, Python expects that to be the name of a file to run, the name of a Python file to run. There's a lot of other options, other things we can do there, but if I just say pi space some string of characters, then Python is going to say, okay, let me go find that file and run it. And if I can't find it, it won't. For example, if I said pi me, this is an error message coming from Python, and it says can't open the file, and then here's the path where it was looking. Error number 2, no such file or directory. Awkward pause while he waits for any questions. Otherwise, oh, yes, many minutes ago, I know rules. When I was talking about rules, invoking another rule, I take silence as complete agreement with whatever I just said. That's what I need to do. That was supposed to be up here under rules. Awkward pause while he waits to see if anybody's going to ask, why in the heck did he just type those characters?
What was it, pi me?
Actually, what I literally just typed was a hyphen, followed by a space, followed by an open square bracket, followed by a space, followed by a closed square bracket.
Oh, I meant in the terminal.
I just got ahead of you. I just switched gears on you. You blink and it happens, kind of thing.
It's like a bulletin point.
It's kind of like a point without showing the point.
It kind of looks like that, and it's intended to look like that, but it's actually syntax for another language we call Markdown. You said that like you've heard the word Markdown before.
No.
Oh, Markdown. Well, I can tell you what Markdown is not. It's not markup. Okay. So let's do this first before I spoil anything. Use the word markup in a sentence that has nothing to do with the stuff. Have you ever used it? You've heard the word markup before, right?
No.
You might have even used the word, or somebody has used the word to you. A teacher, maybe, used the word markup. What did that mean? What was happening there? Yeah, you turn in your test, and they mark it up. Okay, so we have this notion of markup languages, whereby it only works if you have some data. You need some content or some data first, and then we can mark it up with what we call metadata, data about the data.
All right, I'm setting the time again.
Thank you. I heard it. I'm like,
It's fine, we can finish this real quick. Nobody has.
So markup languages that we should definitely, oh, well, okay, I guess HTML. It's only one T. Can I assume everybody's heard that before?
Yes, I hope so.
Why are you so hopeful?
Because We use it in our everyday life.
Really?
Yes.
We do.
I'm
sorry, we do. I mean, I probably know it, but that doesn't mean I know it.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess we interface with it. We don't necessarily use it.
Yeah. Probably, I would agree that probably most everyone uses it without even knowing
Yes.
what it
Mhm.
is. But you are not like everyone else.
That comes back.
Take that. Everybody has different experiences, which is a cool thing why we're here and sharing experiences. But anyhow, so it's something to keep in mind, and especially when it comes to problem solving, is we have to be very clear, especially on requirements and so forth, because there have been a number of problems. There's some famous ones we could look up of problems that have been solved that didn't meet the original proposal. Because the developers thought, oh, they knew what you knew what the customer wanted, you knew what the stakeholders wanted, and you go off and you do it and you come back to them and they're like, that's not what I wanted. It happens a lot. Because we're not speaking the same language. We don't have the same experiences. So, okay. HTML, hypertext markup language. And again, I'll let you start playing the game yourself mentally. Like, okay, hypertext, what does that mean? Hypertext, markup, language. Okay? But essentially, it's the communication of web pages. So back here in your browser, when something is displayed, that's using HTML to display it. You will recognize HTML because we have these things called tags that are in angle brackets. And we have start tags and end tags. Now, I really won't go into that. Okay. We also have this thing called XML, which again, we should all get used to, at least to some degree. And XML is extensible markup language. Ooh, now there's a fun word that you may or may not have used. Well, what does extensible mean? What do you think the word extensible means?
Like, almost like extended?
Yeah, it doesn't sound like extended. Yeah, so extensible, you can extend it. Okay. I know the rule there. You can add more to it. Because what you'll find is in XML, we also use tags and angle brackets. And you're like, well, how the heck do I know if it's XML or HTML? And the answer is HTML, the allowed tags are clearly defined. We can look up the HTML specification. We should. And we'll find that HTML has about just over 100 tags defined in it. And you can't make up your own. That's it. Whatever the standard says, that's it. XML allows you to make up your own. Probably the other one I maybe should have done first these days is JSON, which is JavaScript object notation.
I know Java.
Now, Java versus JavaScript. They are two different programming languages, yes. So they're not the same thing on that. Let's see. So JSON is JavaScript object notation. There's that word object. So this is similar to that object-oriented programming thing we're talking about, where we said, okay, we create classes and we create objects of the classes, instances of a class. The object defines it, kind of like that. Okay. And so in JSON notation, we have one of two things to start with, either a set of curly braces for an object or a set of square brackets for an array. And inside of those operators, those square brackets or curly brackets, you can include more of the others. Do you want to ask? I can see it in your face. I can feel the vibrations. It's just a question of whether you want to actually.
What do you mean by others? Like, do you mean the HTML and the XML within the Java within the? I'm sorry, I might have worded that wrong.
Hey, I'm not sure. I worded it. I mean, obviously, obviously, I did not word it right because you had a question like, what did you mean by that? So don't worry about it. That's fine. Okay. What I meant was okay, and what I should clarify, since you asked, is if you have an object, what you will have in the curly braces is always a key value pair. We saw that. And again, this idea of a key value pair crops up again and again and again. I feel like I mentioned it once when we mentioned environment variables.
You did say key value.
And we did. Oh yeah, I remember, because I remember going into Windows settings, looking at the environment variables and saying, okay, here they are. You probably don't remember that. Does anybody remember that? Does anyone remember my going to Windows and probably saying something like env, edit system environment variables? This came up, and I came in here. I know I did. Tell me if my reality is different, but
You might have done it yesterday.
It's-
I haven't watched yesterday's video yet, so
I don't think
I just.
You don't think I
never got
did?
to it yet, so
so. I can't remember talking sure.
I know you didn't do it in 1200, but I haven't seen yesterday's video yet, so I don't know if you did it.
it would have been in 1240.
Then,
Okay. Well, I just did that. and see, there again, I feel like I remember doing it, but I think I remember a lot of things that never actually happened. So ask the question. Anyhow, and I know now I'm crossing things in here. So this goes back to when I run a program, okay, like when I run Python over here or something, I'm creating an operating system process. And every process gets a little chunk of memory attached to it called the environment. And within that environment, that memory space that we call the environment, are these key value pairs. Okay? And we can specify them per user or for every user, essentially. But what we see here, for example, is there's an environment variable here with the key OneDrive, and its value is this path. As long as I'm at it, then probably the most important environment variable for us to begin with is an environment variable called path. So Bronson was chuckling a little bit. Micaiah was chuckling a little bit. Well, what's going on, guys?
It's like the most important folder for everything, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, so the value for this path environment variable is a special character separated list of paths. I say special character separated because this is just where you have to get used to the fact that in Windows, in Microsoft Windows, the paths are separated by a good old semicolon. But in a Unix environment, it's a colon. And a colon and a semicolon look really close, a lot like kind of, but it's just whatever they chose. Okay. But anyhow, so it's a special character, separator characters list of paths. And what happens is, remember a few minutes ago when right over here, when I said pi me, and I said, the command line interpreter here is going to look inside of itself and say, do I recognize pi as a command? No. What's that? That's what I'm getting at. So it said, do I recognize pi as a command built into me internally, programmed into me? And the answer was no. So it went out and it looked for an executable file with that name. And I said, well, it's got to know where to look. That's what the path environment variable is for. This list of paths is where it will search for executable commands. If it's in that path, great. If it's not, then you get the error message like this. What it won't do is search your entire storage device. Why not?
Takes too long, resource intensive.
Yeah, and we've got terabytes of storage, and it'd take forever. Longer than necessary. And if we're organizing our files well, we're probably keeping our data files and our executable files separate, but that's for more later. Anyhow, so there's an idea of this key value pair thing. How did I get there? Where did I go? Oh, yeah. Because in JSON, JavaScript object notation, curly braces are used for an object. And if it were only that simple, if it was just that, life would be easy. We'd be done and go home. But no, there's a little more to it. Inside the curly braces, an object will be specified with key value pairs. So it'll be some name for the key. What do you want to call the key?
Pumpkin pie.
Sure.
Okay. Pumpkin. Oh.
Last year won't work. You can put pumpkin pie in.
So remember that thing, we've seen this with paths, that spaces are used, and on the command line, spaces are used to separate things. So if we want a space in there, we have to quote it, kind of thing. That also leads to, so if we can't have a space, what do we do?
Could you
Can
have
you do an
done?
underscore?
Could you dash
Okay.
like pumpkin dash pie?
Yes. So generally, now it depends on language, but generally, you could do an underscore. I think that's hideous myself.
I like underscores.
I like the dash.
Okay, I'll say right now, the Pythonic way of naming things is with underscores. You will find me not doing that in my code because I just think they're ugly. And this is code that I want to read.
It's okay to have an opinion, Joe.
And I've already said that I will not dictate style on you. So don't dictate style on me. The other thing, by the way, just for it, is it helps, I think, especially in the learning and the reading, is because when you see underscores, you know it wasn't me.
Oh, okay.
So when you see underscores in my code, you know, oh, that was Python or some module or something that somebody else did. My code won't have those underscores. So, by the way, I guess what I should do is come back here and say, okay, there, pumpkin pie.
Well, does the lowercase matter?
It's sometimes and sometimes not.
Because I know you said before that it didn't matter, so I didn't know if it mattered in this context.
Matter to who or what?
Well, no, because you said when you were doing on your SQL thing, you were doing capital versus lowercase. You said it didn't matter when you were doing the select to pull up when you were showing us in your table.
Mm-hmm. So some languages, some applications are case sensitive. Some are not. It's just, yeah, that's just, you have to learn. Part of learning that language or learning that application is learning whether it's case sensitive or not. For example, Microsoft file names are not case sensitive. In Unix, they are. You just have to know that. Shoot, I was going to say something. Oh, to me, probably the number one factor, indicator of good code. How do you know if code is good or not?
I'd say it's very organized.
Okay, so organization structure is important. What else?
It works.
It works. Okay. Yeah. I think there's something more important than working, though.
It's in the right language.
Okay, now I have to ask what the right language is.
You could almost make an entire philosophy class about coding.
I've said a number of times we should get philosophy credits for this course.
What is good code?
Oh, so my gosh, yeah, there's a lot of these things, style, philosophy, and so forth. But the more we do, the more we're okay. So, gosh, now good code. I'm going to say, in my opinion, readability is the most important thing. Is it readable? We have this thing called obfuscation, where we intentionally make it not readable. And this also probably comes back to the whole proprietary versus open source debate kind of thing. You know, do you consider the characters you type the code value, or do you consider your ideas more valuable? Anyhow, let's say I'm going to stick with the fact that readability is my number one factor in good code, and I'm going to suggest that pumpkin pie, all lower space like this, is not very readable. Nah, you know, you can look at it and you can as a human, you can probably pretty quickly find out, pumpkin pie. I see the two words in there. Our brains have been trained to do that really well. You know what would be a worse name? A terrible name?
Oh, sweet Jesus.
You will see people doing this. I'm telling you. In fact, total transparency, you can probably find some of my code where I've done stupid things like that, you know, because you're quick and in the moment kind of thing. Yeah, you're doing that. Okay, so anyhow, so at least spelling out pumpkin pie, that's a little bit better. You could do the underscore thing. That's a little bit better. I will admit that. A lot of times you can get away with a hyphen. That's a little bit better too. I think it's still kind of ugly. Okay. And then we have this thing called camel case and brain, do your thing. But what if I did that? So if I capitalize the first letter of each word, it stands out. Oh, pumpkin pie. Works.
You missed the other P.
But did I? I don't know if you guys might not have heard that, but Isabella said, wait, you missed the other P. And like, did I? Or did I not? Did I intentionally?
You said capitalize both words.
I don't think I said both.
You did.
But I did. I think I said each, but okay. But I'll give you the intent. The intent, and I said, capitalize the first letter of each word.
Yeah,
I got to go look back at the video, because if I said both, I'm going to be terribly disappointed in myself.
That's still both words.
I know. No, it is in this case both. Okay. There. Okay. As much fun as I'm having with this, the question is, do I capitalize the first word or not?
Depends how you feel.
I'm gonna say that I am actually trying to convey something, whether I do or I don't.
Doesn't matter.
So this comes back to, does it matter? Not to the machine, but it does to me. It does to humans. We have conventions. So as I said a moment ago, Microsoft path names are not case sensitive. You can do whatever you want. Unix, they are. That's just a difference of philosophy. You have to know which system you're in. Okay? The system dictates that. But then there's other cases where, let's say, Microsoft doesn't require capitalization. Can you use capitalization? Sure. What can you use it for a purpose in an organized manner? And I'll have to say that if I capitalize the first word, I'm trying to convey to you that this is a class, a type. If I don't, I'm trying to convey that it's an object of some class or type. Subtle, but like I said, it's a convention and it actually is meant to convey information. Many developers, unfortunately not all, but many developers will know. And I'm sorry, go ahead.
It's been 20 minutes. I changed how I did my timers when I did it on my computer and set it because my phone was starting to die.
Okay.
So it didn't make any noise, but I promise you it's been 20 minutes.
Yeah. What's that?
9:28, so yeah.
Yeah. I'm telling you, I still think that's a good idea. The whole timer thing is a good, and switching things up is a good idea, but I'm not, haven't not trained myself to do it well. Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead. Because I feel like we're in the middle of a thought here. I'd like to at least finish this one. I mean, I think we are. What the heck is the thought we're in the middle of?
Classes versus objects. And you said uppercase.
Go back further.
The link. Oh,
What's that?
Case sensitive.
Case sensitive. Go back further.
the language? What do you mean go back further?
We're talking about
Value?
Exactly.
Yeah, but why are we talking about pumpkin pie?
Because that's what we named it.
That's just what we
This
chose.
we named what?
An object.
That's what we chose.
When we came up with pumpkin pie, we were not talking about an object.
We were just. Oh, that's a variable. That's just the name we picked.
Now, variable, I would almost let slide, but I would prefer if you said it's a key. Remember the key value
it's
pair
the
thing?
Key value pair. I wrote that down. Yeah, no.
So all we've gotten to here is the curly brackets, the curly braces are specifying this is a JSON object.
Mhm.
JSON objects will consist of key value
Key
pairs.
value.
And we now have a key. What we need then is a colon and then the value. It can be a number, it could be a string. Actually, it can be true or false too, a Boolean. So now in JSON speak, I've said, oh, there's an object. It has a property, an attribute, or a key called pumpkin cherry pie that's kind of like a variable. Like I said, it has a property, an object, an attribute, a variable, if you will, named pumpkin cherry pie, and the value is 123. Does this object have any other attributes, properties?
The 1, 2, 3 that we just kind of-
What's that?
The 1, 2, 3.
The 1, 2, 3. Oh, I did not put it in quotation marks, so therefore its type is going to be a number. But if I put it in quotation marks, it's now a string. It's actually the characters, the numerals 1, followed by the numeral 2, followed by the numeral 3. I know that deserves a lot more attention, but my question is, could I add another attribute to this object? Could I add another characteristic property to this? Sure. I can add another key value pair. Okay. So I'm just going to call it a C. There. Okay. And then the key is, so the properties, if you will, the attributes are a comma separated list of key value pairs. And you can have as many as you want. Okay. In an attempt to answer the question that was probably asked 30 minutes ago. Do you remember your question that you asked 30 minutes ago? When I said, the curly braces define an object, the square brackets define an array, and you can have one inside the other.
Oh, right. Yeah, stuff. I asked what does the stuff mean in this context. Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you could put that
I
inside
meant
of the other one?
yes.
Okay.
I'm going to go out. I think I know what you're thinking. I'm going to say yes. I'll do an example in a moment. But speaking of rules, did I invoke the rule that you are not allowed to forget anything?
No.
Well, I just did.
I'm gonna break it all the time.
I know.
My
I wish-
brain is a
I
goldfish.
forgot your rules. You might have to write them down.
And it's like, my brain is a goldfish. I
Oh,
apologize in
actually,
advance.
I started to. Where am I at? I'm over here.
You did.
Yeah. Oh yeah, rules up here.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, you didn't write
I
down
did.
the other rule. You didn't write right on the one rule.
What was it?
It was the.
I think that.
That one.
Ah, yes,
Yeah,
you're right.
you didn't
Okay.
write that one down.
See, now I just broke the rule and I forgot something. So silence is complete agreement. Yes.
That's in yesterday's video for 1240. Not 1240, 1200 if you're in it.
Okay, let's do it right here. What is the point of the rule that you are not allowed to bang your head 3 times? And by the way, if you can't bang your head 3 times, what else can't you do?
More than 3 times.
4, 5, 6, or 7. So what the rule, another way of stating that rule is you're only allowed to bang your head once or twice.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, why does that rule exist? I also think, by the way, we went over the just, and that might have been in essentials. So
we
problem
did,
solving.
because it was like an extra
So
30 minutes at the end of class.
Problem solving people might be wondering, what the heck is this rule about just? I'll let somebody put that in Discord. Silence is completed, or no, bang your head 3 times. The point of that is, I've said it a few times, I'll say it again and again. As humans, if something is too easy, we don't get anything out of it. It's too easy, it's mindless, or you just do it. We actually we're wired so that we need a little bit of anxiety, a little bit of challenge for motivation.
So you don't want to make it too hard.
But not too much, because it's a fine line. When you cross that line, you just shut down. So, when you're like, oh, come on, what's going on? Why isn't this working? I got it. And sometimes I find myself being like, okay, I do something, I get an error message, and I go, what is that all about? Oh, gosh, and I try something, I'm like, it still doesn't work. Oh, got it. Okay. But I have never done that more than twice and been successful in a short period of time.
Yeah.
By the time you're banging your head 3, 4 times, it's like, you might as well. It's not going to be productive. You might as well stop, go do something else, let your subconscious mull it over. You come back and you're like, well, of course, it was obvious.
I've done that.
I think we've probably all done that. I think
It's very frustrating.
Again, okay, so that's where, don't get too frustrated about it. Accept the fact that, okay, that's the way life works. Make the most of it. Actually use that as a skill now. Hence the rule. Don't bang your head more than twice, because you're probably not going to get anywhere, and you're just going to get more frustrated, which is going to keep you. So no, stop, do something else. Maybe post a message in Discord, or something like that. Come back to it later, and if you do that, you will be more productive in the long run. Now, of course, all that depends upon the fact that you're not trying to do something at 11:58 for a midnight deadline for some assignment.
Oh.
Therefore, don't do that. Don't procrastinate. Don't put off your assignment that's due at midnight till 11:30 or something. Again, this is the pot calling the kettle black. Anyhow, back to here, because we haven't forgotten anything. What was I going to do? Oh, this is a couple choices. I could add an array here.
Make it where it's like.
So an array is this, and let's also say, what does array mean? Okay. Everyday notion. Use the word array in a sentence that has nothing to do with technology.
What's it for like math?
I consider math part of technology. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Something, if I could find somebody out there who was not in this field, and I dragged them in here and said, give me an example of an array. What would they say?
You gotta go find some.
I know. It's too. That's the problem with being early in the morning like this. It's too quiet. There aren't enough people around. But I'm keeping an eye out. If I see somebody, they're getting dragged in here.
I'll let you know when I see.
What about an array of food on the table? An array of flowers?
Like a group.
A group. Yeah. An arrangement, a group of things. Okay. So for us, it's a group of values. It's an arrangement of values where the order matters There's a first one, second one. Maybe there's none. Okay, we can talk about empty arrays. Okay. And the values can be anything. The values could be numbers, they could be strings, they could be other types. Let's keep it simple for a moment and say that I have a list of numbers like 1, 3, 7. I separate them with commas. Again, since there's no quotation marks, they will be treated as numbers rather than strings, sequence the characters. But I have a problem. That's actually not going to work. The only time that would work is if I started with an array. Do we know why that is? Do you know the rule that this breaks? I mean, you do. I told you what the rules are. Oops.
I don't see a problem. If it does
Well, that's because you're
break
human. Be a machine. Okay, so stop that being human thing.
Okay.
Become the machine. Channel your computer.
Since there's nothing really between nothing changes it.
I think so. Keep
Is it
going, or
spaces? You need the spaces because that indicates if it
actually, I
is-
don't need any of those spaces.
Oh, that's something I think of. Is
Now that's a readability thing. The machine won't care about the spaces. You could strip them all out. Maybe this will help though. Suppose I did this. Okay. I think that's less readable, but it'll help. Isaac, did you want to add something to that?
Oh, that might change it now.
Oh, how does that change it? That's interesting.
We put the space back in for a second.
does it all blur together and the computer thinks it's one big thing instead of
No,
two
the
different
computer does not care.
things? Okay.
This bit about
to
the
me,
space
it
right
looks
now,
like it
that's
all
a you
goes
thing.
together.
That's a you problem. The computer does not care whether they're there or not. And you can put 2, 3, 4 spaces, any number of spaces in there. It's going to strip them all out. It's going to just ignore any of this white, what we call white space. Because I could even put a tab in there. And it won't. Okay. So let's start at the beginning, because every character matters. It's another one of my mantras. Okay. To the machine, every character matters. And you have to start with the first one. Okay. It can't jump. Well, yeah, it can't magically jump ahead. Okay. So what's the first?
Oh, okay.
What's the
So
first?
it reads down, and then it can't read back up. It usually reads down.
Admittedly, it depends upon the system, but normally you would have, just like a human, you would have to read ahead to know something in the future.
Yeah, okay.
But there's a lot of cases where you don't know that kind of thing. If I was going to send you a message, how do you know when the message ends?
So-
Oh, you didn't put the semicolon for the period. Like
Okay, so
period.
one way would be if we
Oh.
agreed that, oh, there's a special character that marks the end of the message.
Yeah, you said a semicolon or the slash depending on if the path or
Sure.
sentence.
As long as we agree on a character. Now we're getting into what we would call a protocol. Is there another way we could do it?
That usually means yes. Usually people put at right at the end of the whole thing.
But how are you marking the end? How are you?
Usually you like right on the next line.
Okay, so the enter key. Do you realize when you press the enter key, there is a code sent to the computer? So every time if I press like A, my keyboard is sending a code, a numeric code, a binary code. There's nothing. There's no numbers. Okay, a binary string, a string of bits, sequence of bits that gets interpreted as the letter A. Machine has no idea. Okay. When you hit enter, it also sends a code.
Isn't that
The difference is enter is an action. It doesn't. It doesn't have a displayable symbol. There's an action that goes to the next line, maybe, but there's no printable symbol. Just like when you type a space, that's not nothing. There's a code for that. There's a binary sequence specifically for that space character. Yes. So I feel like we might have even mentioned that once, but anyhow, this Unicode thing or ASCII Unicode things we'll get into someday. I don't feel like doing that right at the moment.
Isn't it Unicode like percentages when it's like a specific color? That's like
Yeah, that's
Unicode is characters. Emojis or letters or spaces.
I think what you're seeing in your mind, what you're recalling is you've seen the percent sign a lot of times when dealing with Unicode.
Yes.
The percent is often a special character. That means the next characters have special meaning. Kind of like a hashtag.
Yeah,
We use them all the time as hashtags. That symbol, call it a number sign, pound sign, hash, whatever you want to call it. There's a dozen different names for the same symbol. But that symbol, in the context of your messaging app or something, is followed by a name, an identifier.
You could give like different colors and bold or
In HTML, if you see a hashtag followed by 6 characters, that gets interpreted as a color code. Okay, so I'm down here in the first. Let me finish that thought. One way is a special character, so you can know the end of a message by a special character. The other way that we do it frequently is to say, the first thing I'm going to send you is a certain number of bits to tell you how many more I'm going to send.
Wasn't that TCP/UDP?
In networking, we do this a lot, okay? Where we send the length of the message first. And so you know to interpret the first bits you see as representing a length, and then that many more bits is how many.
Isn't it called sys and ack?
I'll say yes for the moment.
Okay.
we can, oh gosh, networking, there's a whole other thing.
I actually dropped one of your classes to actually do networking though, so what are my major?
We're going to do networking stuff in here. I mean, we kind of are already, but yes. Okay. Let's come back here.
Okay.
We're talking about JSON. So again, context is extremely important. We're talking about JSON. We see an opening curly brace. What are you expecting? There's 2 things. Okay. So yes, we're expecting an object.
And that's
Maybe there's 3
key
things.
value pair, which is in this case,
Okay.
is the pumpkin cherry pie.
So you're expecting a key value pair, and you're also expecting what? A closing curly brace.
Just so it's done, right?
Yeah. Again, that's that sort of special character that says, oh, okay, this is the end of this.
But it's been like that the whole time, and you still said that something is wrong. So that's where I'm.
Oh, it's still wrong, yes. But we're onto something because we've established that, okay, in the context of a JSON object, we know that because it's a curly brace. We know that we're expecting 1 or more key value pairs. So when you see the quote, what do you think? It's the start of a key. It's the only thing it can be. It's the start of a key. Okay? PUMPKINCH, blah, blah, blah. Okay? Those are all non-special characters. So you're sucking them up, and then you see the ending quote. Okay? So that's the end of this group. That's the end of these characters. And that is the value for the key. Be careful. I just said the value of the key when we're talking about key value pairs. Keys have values. I should probably call it.
Yeah, it's kind of rough.
But yeah, okay. So I've now seen the key. What do I expect now? that if I don't see it, I'm going to have a fit.
Colon.
Colon. Yeah, part of the rules. Part of
Oh.
I've got
I
to see it.
guess- Like the semicolon or like a colon?
Colon. This is a colon.
Okay.
Oh, we don't have a colon over there between.
Now you see it. Yes.
There's a comma.
But I'm gonna keep going for a moment because I'm gonna say, okay, after the colon, what do you expect to see?
Then we've got the quotes again, so that's a different key. And then there's the non-specific characters.
Okay, what would be valid here? Yeah, I'm pushing my luck here. Okay.
You could drop the quotes and it would just be an integer at that point.
Yes. Okay. So you can have numerals, valid numeric symbols, or you can have quotes, and also technically you could have the word without quotes. You could have the words true or false.
Is it difficult to manipulate that value if you input it as a string? As in, let's say you recall that value later, you want to be able to add to it because it's a string.
Yes. And so what we're gonna we're gonna end up needing to frequently, probably very often, convert between numeric and string representations of numbers. Might as well start thinking about it now because we should be able to teach. You know how to do it, right?
Huh?
Sidebar here, but is that a valid number?
Sure.
No, is that a valid number?
Maybe. I don't know.
Should be. Okay. Is that a valid number?
Yeah.
Should be. Okay. Is that a valid number?
Yeah. Why
Should
not?
be. Okay. Is that a valid number? No. Why not? Symbols. That's not a numeric symbol. Is that a valid number?
Mhm.
Is that a valid number? No, I don't think
No.
so. Okay. Is that a valid number?
No.
I don't think so. Is that a valid number?
No.
Ooh.
Oh.
I did not mean the unit kilo there, by the way. But we said, is that a valid number?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is that a valid number?
No.
Is that a valid number?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So you know the rules. You know how to interpret a bunch of symbols and say, yeah, that fits my notion of a number, or it doesn't. Teach the machine that. We need to teach the machine all those things we were thinking so it can be given a sequence of symbols and can tell whether it's a number or not. Like that. Just start thinking about that. Refresh all those rules that you take for granted, because that's another problem we have. Is it's that just thing again. You know, you just do it. Come on. Eh? Well, the machine can't just do it. So okay. So think about it. In the meantime, I'm going to come back up here and I'm going to say, okay, we saw the key, the colon, the value. We saw a comma. I think this is where we left off. But you're okay with the comma. You Java, you JSON interpreter, you're fine with that because what do you expect after it? Another key value pair. Right? Okay. And so when you see the quote in the A, like, okay, that could be a key. The colon, oh, okay, that's the end of the key. That I'm feeling even better, more confident now that A was a key. And then I see a quote. Okay, it's a string. Okay, end quote. It matches. This is just like in your numbers class where you had to always match the parentheses kind of thing. Any of those pairs of symbols, parentheses, quotation marks, curly braces, square braces, they always have to match. Opening and closing. Okay. And then you see a comma, and you're like, okay, I'm okay. And then you see this. And
Is
that's
that a
where you're like,
key
whoa,
value?
no. So what do?
Throw it in some quotes.
What do you mean by that exactly?
Define it as either a key or a value.
Are you suggesting that I do this?
Yes.
Okay. Anybody have a problem with that?
It doesn't have a value or a key afterwards. There's no colon.
Exactly.
Nothing to tie it to.
It's still remember, an object can consist of and only consist of key value pairs, a comma separated list of key value pairs. So I guess if you want to do that, but you're going to have to give it a key.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's a good start. That kind of stuff. So all these things like HTML, XML, JSON, I feel like there's something else I should talk about. Other markups. Oh, yeah, of course there is. We just have to learn the rules from, okay. So HTML, it's right in the name, markup language. XML, right in the name. JSON, we just have to know, okay, it's a markup language. What if I said that there was a language called Markdown? Ha ha ha. It's a markup language, but the down is meant to imply that it's simpler. So when we look at XML or HTML, we have all these angle brackets and tags and stuff around. And when we're looking at the JSON, we have all these curly braces and colons and stuff around, kind of like that. And so Markdown was an attempt to create a markup language that was simpler, or at least more readable. Remember how we got there? This is markup, or excuse me, this is Markdown. In the Markdown language, those empty square brackets at the beginning of a line signify that, oh, it will replace this with a checkbox. I guess what I should probably do, copy that, come over here to Discord. Yeah.
If I go into Notepad and make a TXT with a checkbox and then export it as a TXT, we'll have that bracket.
Well, so you can do that. In that case, what you're doing is you're going to specify the Unicode pattern for a checkbox and treat it as a character, which is subtly different than saying that you'll notice the dash that I typed in turned into a bullet mark on that.
You'll do a backslash before it.
And well, because the point of this was supposed to be that Discord understands a variant of Markdown in your messages.
That's where I heard it before.
Oh, I'm surprised that it didn't do that.
Do a backslash before it will put the dash on itself.
It may be, because then that gets into a whole nother thing, but oh, you did say backslash, and I typed a forward slash. Yeah, that was intentional to show that. No, it wasn't. Yeah, we talk about slash commands, and that's a whole other thing. Because notice the slash disappeared, but it still didn't replace it with the checkbox symbol.
Oh, the checkbox. I have no idea.
But that's a markdown thing, which it should be able to do. Huh.
I don't think I've ever seen a checkbox on this.
Well, okay, so like I said, Discord understands a variant of Markdown. It doesn't support everything. Dana's going to help us out here. Bail me out. But that's where we got like bullets up here kind of thing. I guess since I failed miserably at that, let me at least come over here and say, Markdown. a lightweight markup language lets you format in plain text kind of thing. Daring Fireball is the developer, but there's obviously a ton of guides
So
for this.
Discord has a couple of weird rules, but if you want to do stuff with like asterisks, you can play with the amount of asterisks, and it'll tell you like how many times you did the thing.
Okay. Yeah, like I said, there are some variants on that. There we go. So as I Daring Fireball happens to be the originator of the Markdown language, and so there's a blurb about it, and then basics. Yeah. So things like headings and underlines and things. Syntax. Okay. So you can do things like, yeah, headers, block quotes, lists. Oh, a common one for us, what you've seen me do before is to do something like 3 backticks and then shift enter. And if I start typing some stuff, it uses a fixed width font. So if you're trying to do cut and paste code or something like that, it makes it nicer if it shows up in a fixed width.
Colors in that too, but they removed that feature
I didn't know they even had colors.
at one point.
I don't remember
Must have been
colors.
a long time ago.
If you did that text box, you could do colors.
You know when they did that?
I don't recall the year.
Was it before 2020?
Yeah. The way I
I know I've
remember
been on Discord a long time.
the way I remember is 1 asterisk does normal italicized, 2 does bold, and 3 does bold italicized. That's how I remember
And
it.
if you put a hashtag, it makes a big title.
Yeah, and that also.
Yeah, the only thing I didn't know is how the block that you guys had. I didn't know how to do that one. But I also know if you do like a squiggly line before your words, it crosses out the word. Or let me see if I can find it. No, of course that I'm looking for it. I'm never gonna be able to find it.
Yes.
Oh, Dana's letting me know what time it is.
Yes, that one.
Okay.
The time
It
one.
has
Yes,
been-
I love the time one.
Yeah, it has been more than 20 minutes. I just didn't tell you at the time we were talking about very important things. It's been like 20 extra minutes more than the 20-minute timer.
Okay, so I don't know. Did I make a channel or something someplace for Discord tips and tricks? I feel like I did,
I
or
think you deleted it.
Is that the SISX?
could.
I know we talked about it, and that's not exact. I mean, it's student interfaces, so that could be what you mean in this context. That's the only thing I can think of. It was the SISX.
Yeah, I mean that doesn't really seem to fit, but
If not, then no.
so what
we
I'm
did
going to
not.
do is should it be you want a channel or a forum for it?
For
Discord tips and tricks. So all these little things.
Ah, yeah.
What's that?
Forum would make more sense. I
Forum?
feel like.
Okay.
'Cause then if
I
you
can't
answer a
find
question,
squiggly. Am I blind?
Yeah, forums are a newer thing for organization. That's why I created a couple there. Okay, so I'm going to create a forum. What do you want to call it?
Any tips and tricks?
Tips. By the way, because you can't have spaces in channel names,
Yes.
you can in forum names. It's,
They'll
but,
immediately do the dash,
but it uses the
and that's your
dash.
space.
There
So
was a bug where you could do spaces for a while.
so tips and tricks.
For some reason, you can in voice chat.
Create the channel there. Okay. Oh, did I? What did I do? Yeah. Oh, there it is.
It's
Okay.
down there.
Good choice.
I don't know. I think I might. Do I have to post something, or can you post in there immediately?
I can post.
Okay. Then I'll leave it up to you. If I need to do something to start to create the channel, else to create it, let me know on that. Okay.
It can get really unique because you can have tags. So like you know what this means.
Okay. So all this to say that coming back here, all that we got here because I'm running that code in the back end, which I can go over more about how that actually works. But at least we learned a little bit something about databases in the meantime, and we know that when you open your browser and go to, oh, that's what I was going to do at my level. Okay, I do need to do that. So now that we know a little bit about this database, and I can ask for the schema of a table that I called user. Oh, there's another thing too. Okay, if it didn't do that, so, oh, you know why that didn't work? I'm in my CLI, I'm in Bash, and I typed an SQLite .command.
You're not in the right CD folder.
I'm not in the right context. I'm in the folder's okay. It's just that Bash, the terminal CLI, is trying to interpret this. And I need SQLite to interpret it. The CLI doesn't know .schema as a command. SQLite does. So I'm going to run SQLite with my database there. Okay, now I've got the SQLite prompt. And now if I type .table, SQLite says, sure, I know what to do. It shows me the tables. That's also, why when I said user, it didn't. So I say, okay, .schema, show me the schema for the user table. And we find in here that that's where your current level is stored. One of the fields, one of the columns in that user table is where your current level is stored. And when you pass, that gets updated. And when you don't pass the challenge, it doesn't. So if I said something like select level from user, that alone would select everybody's level. It would show me the level for everybody. But what I'm going to do is say where ID is equivalent to 2, only because I know that that's my ID. I can do some queries to look it up, but anyhow, that is an SQL statement. So I end it with a semicolon. And I see, yep, sure enough, there's 2005. That's what the system says my current level is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do an update query. And I'm going to say update the table user. No. Well, yes.
Use SSH.
I'm using PuTTY, which is the secure shell communication program that establishes the communication to my
that doesn't make sense how you do not know
to remote server. So yeah, this prompt is from the CLI on my server, not on my local machine.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Like that doesn't make sense on local on my other users. It's not on my desktop.
And now everybody knows that if you have any further questions about PuTTY, that's the whole thing, Bronson's the one to ask. Okay, so what was I going to do? So I was going to update the user table and set level to 2000, where ID is 2. Couple things I want to say here. One is the general rule of interpreters in general. So whether it's your CLI or SQLite or whatever like that is, when it works, it doesn't get in your face. It only gets in your face, gives you an error message when something doesn't work right. So the fact that I didn't see an error message tells me, woohoo, that seems like that worked. Now I can verify that because I can go back and I can select it again and say, yep, now it's 2000. Okay. And that means then if I come back here and I say continue, and I'll check it by getting the challenge, yep, I just reset my work back to there. Okay. But what that means then is I'm going to come over here and say, oh, I don't have it. I deleted that file, I think. Okay. So what I'm going to do is create a new file. Oh, I hit Control N. You can go to the menus or shortcut keys. Control N to create a new file. And I'm going to type in here print open parentheses for some reason quote something, and that's it. I'm going to save it. I'm going to save it someplace where I know where it is. So I'm going to save it in my folder that I created for this course. And I'm going to call it I guess I'm going to call it. No. Challenge 2000 .py. So that now I can come over here to Joe's TA and say continue, submit a challenge, select the code, select that file, my challenge 2000 .py file. It's sending it to the server, and I get an error message. Submission stdout, standard out, was the quote something. It expected the standard out to be hello world. So this is what will happen. If you get it wrong, you'll get an error message like this. I think you asked the other day, Bronson, I capture stack traces and all that. Basically, I'm going to give you a message that is meant to indicate, here's what it got. Here's what your code produced. Here's what my code produced. And the goal is to produce what my code produces. So like, oh, okay. I go back. Well, first of all, I'm like, if I try to select it again and say,
challenge should we be on? Would it be 2005?
at this particular moment in time, you should be on 2000-ish. Just last night, I enabled more challenges. Okay, so up to this point, I'd only done 2000, so we can all get in and get used to it. And I can do this kind of thing and show you how it works and so forth like that. But then last night, I scheduled some more challenges. So yes, when you complete 2000, you should get 2005. When you complete that, you should get another one, and there's a few more.
Where does it say when everything is due to challenges?
Oh, yes, that was a good question. Okay. So there are not strict due dates. Okay. And those of you, does everybody in here work somehow, someplace? Anyhow, the point of that is, in the professional world, there aren't as many strict due dates. And there's some, okay, project coming in or everything like that. But a lot of it, you just got to get the work done on time. And if you procrastinate, you pay for it. Personally, on your own, kind of thing like that. You do it long enough and your boss will talk to you. And you keep doing it long enough and you'll get fired. But, you generally figure out that, okay. So anyhow, I'll say, I don't have strict due dates. But what I will tell you, for planning purposes, is that there will eventually be 42 challenges.
Okay, in total?
In total. In fact, if you look in Brightspace, I believe there are 42 grade items. One per challenge. Okay. Question? Really? Doesn't somebody wonder, like, why in the heck 42?
7 challenges per week. 7 days.
You're on the right track. 3. The idea is three per week. This comes back to that whole credit thing that I know we talked about the other night. I posted the message with the legal definition of a credit hour, kind of like that. So this course the semester is 14 weeks long. Okay. And let's see here. So if it's 14 weeks long and you did 3 a week, 42. Or you take 42 and divide it by 3, you get the 14 weeks. But divide by 14 the weeks and you get 3 per week.
So then how many did you make available?
I don't remember exactly. Yeah, there's several. I should be like at least a couple weeks worth. I didn't want to get too far ahead on that. One, because this is a brand new system. I just made this thing, so you're helping me beta test it, and I don't know what's going to happen any more than you do, kind of. But at least so far, it seems to be working somewhat. It's ugly. It's terrible. We need a lot of work. I'm counting on you to tell me about the UI UX design and what to improve. I also said the other day that some of the reasons why, like when you come back here, and why is there a continue prompt here? Why didn't it just continue? Why do I have to click, several times? Because that drives me crazy. When you get an app and you have to click, 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 click to get what you want. And shouldn't have to do that. So we can make a menu or something like that. But anyhow, the other point was, I was thinking of incorporating some kind of like quizzing thing in here. And so, okay, anyhow. But basically at the moment, it's get the challenge, submit the challenge. I don't know if I should let the cat out of the bag or not. I had my wife look at this, and critique it. And she'll give me honest critique. So, she's like, why do you have to go get the challenge and then submit the challenge? Why doesn't it show you what the challenge is right here? And I was like, she's got a point. So all I have to say, there's a lot of things that can be changed, improved, checked. But that's what we have so far. And I can show you how to do all this stuff. So we can do our own stuff. I do really think that idea of making a student app, an app for students, would be a really good thing to do.
What app would you make?
What's that?
What would it be, like a schedule, or what would it be specific?
Well, whatever is necessary, but that's where the SX thing came in. And I said, think about, now is perfect time. It's perfect design time. Think about all the things that you're doing, things you have to figure out, learn, that take longer than it should, kind of thing, and so forth. Schedule's a big one, okay? So can we teach the machine to make our life easier?
Yes.
That's what it comes down to.
I feel like we can make it where you put in your picture of your, actually, you can already do that. So you can make a little program.
Yeah. Now, yeah, I'll leave it at that. But yeah, think about, okay, what would an ideal app look like, feel like? And as the days and weeks go on, think about other things that would be helpful to know. You're probably not too concerned about grades right now, because it's only the third or fourth day. But sooner or later, all those points and things are gonna, could we make our life easier? Could we eliminate some of that stress and anxiety of the tediousness of things? That's what the machine's for. So we do that. By the way, what also might be helpful is, okay, so we can do more database stuff. I'm going to exit out of here. And which way do I want to do this? I'm going to say cat, which is yeah, at some point we have essentials coming up. What time?
I don't know, my schedule changed.
It's in here, and I actually got it right when I was in
Are
here.
you talking about the one for later? That's 1:45.
Oh, we got plenty of time then. Okay, cool.
Yeah, that's not till 1:45.
and there's still people. You're still sitting here. Okay.
That one's not from 1:40. That's from Jesus. That's from 1:45 to like 3:30.
Okay, then I'm gonna keep going.
Okay.
And say.
And by the way, we're not done with this till 10:50 anyway. We still have like.
Oh, we still have time anyhow. We have scheduled time. Cool. We started an hour early, didn't we?
Yeah, we started an hour early because we were wrong. Which, speaking of, do you want me to change in my schedule to 9 instead of 8, or come at 8 again?
So what I will say.
Oh, they
Oh,
must
no,
have
that early, I have to drive.
No. It was. No, it wasn't me. Well, it was me. Okay. This course traditionally has started at 8 a.m. I assumed, it's 8 a.m. It's a Thursday 8 a.m. So I came up to campus.
Oh.
And somewhere along the way, I might have said that yesterday. I might have said yesterday something about being at 8. But no, the schedule, and even the schedule that I put in here, is all correct according to the official campus stuff of it starting at 9. but I had just probably said 8, and I instinctively thought 8 a.m. and came here and started at 8 a.m. Sometimes I'm a creature of habit. Like I said, past semesters, Thursdays was always 8 a.m. So I did the same thing this semester. But now what that means is we have a choice. We have an option.
8 a.m.
Yeah. In the future, do we want to start at 8 or do we want to start at 9?
I don't mind either way. It's
More sleep.
Okay.
Got
Okay.
more time this morning. And then I drove here, and I'm in the car, and I hear my phone's TTS because I don't like to check my phone when driving, so it reads my notifications. And he's like, and you're like, well, we're starting at 8. And I'm like, I'm not gonna be there by 8.
Yeah. So back here in general, I posted a message here this morning, someplace here, saying, "Yeah, it's Thursday. It's 8 a.m." And I realized, and then Isabella was here, and she clued me in. She's like, "No, I don't think so." Okay, fine. So, okay. I'm creature of habit. I may still show up at 8 a.m., but we'll start at 9. Okay, so we'll start at 9 in the future, and that's cool because we got plenty of time afterwards to keep going. Is everybody okay with this? Yeah. Like I said, you are not. Let me put it this way: you are never obligated to be here or be online at anything other than the scheduled times. And if you're doing the online version, you don't have to be. You're not obligated to be here, and even then, and you can always claim you're on the online. So you're never obligated to be here, I guess. But you are obligated to be aware of what went on. So if you're not here or can't be here at this time or whatever, just watch the videos. And the videos include some bonus instruction time. Yeah, that's how I look at it. Oh, okay. Anyhow, where are we at here? I think we're at the fact that so I came back here and I said, okay, I'm just starting out, and I say continue. Say what?
You put it as PY when you submit it. I would probably work on as TXT.
You're not the only one. Oh, and I should definitely do this. Windows out of the box hides file name extensions.
Yeah.
So yeah. So if you open Windows Explorer,
Yeah, I hate that they did that.
and you go to like View, what was that, Micaiah?
Oh, I was just saying, I absolutely hate that they did that with Windows 11.
Yeah,
By default, they have it so file extensions are hidden.
I do too. But again, it's kind of like we were saying earlier. Oh, Bronson, yeah. We are more technically minded than most people.
Mhm.
And even if you haven't seen it before, we're like, what's this whole file name extension thing? What are these file associations? Most people don't know. Most people don't care. So
I get that. No, that's
Microsoft,
completely reasonable.
they're going to market towards the majority of people.
I'm a little biased. I'm very much a trial by fire type of person.
Yes. And I'm very much biased, and I think that things should be the way I think they should be. But anyhow, somewhere's up here, you'll find options or properties. Remember which one? I think it's options. In View and hide extensions for known types, and that'll be checked by default. So if you, I'll just do it. Okay. If I check that, I guess I'll have to apply it. There. Now,
There's a much easier way to do that.
what's that?
There's an easier way to do that.
Oh.
What's
You go to View and then Show and just turn on hidden item or file name extensions.
I think I've done it that way.
okay? I'm old school, and like I said, I've done this a million times this way. So you said go to View.
Yep, and then Show.
Oh yeah,
That's what I was saying.
File name extensions.
file name extensions. And it'll be unchecked out of the box, and mine's checked because of that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
okay.
think I've
Thank you,
done it that
Windows.
way.
Hold on.
So
I didn't know you even did the way you showed us. That's some
Yeah, I didn't know you could do it that way.
I think there's another lesson there in that there's always multiple ways to do almost anything.
Yes.
Always.
And then it's usually not a question of right and wrong. It's a question of preference or
Yeah.
whatever. Okay, so yeah, now that we know about file name extensions, and it does need to be pi.
Okay. I've noticed that too. That's even done TXT, and then I would have been very confused, so I did weird.
Yes. And that's happened. It will happen. And, okay.
Maybe we should
Maybe we should what?
make a note of that. That's
Yes, I think you should.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's your Python?
Why does my Python what? Where? Huh? Where's my Python? The bottom here.
I think he's talking about your text editor.
I don't have Python here.
This is 1040, 1200.
This is 1240.
1200 is later.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm in that class.
So back to what I was saying the other day, I use all discrete individual tools. So that's why I don't have Python here, because if I want Python, I will start up PowerShell and use Python from there.
What is I see that you've got like all your downloads of the S1. What is the S1?
Oh, what you're seeing, that might be confused with Python. No, that's my Sublime text editor.
No, because your Python opens with Sublime, and that's why I was confused.
Oh,
Just default program.
Python.
So that's the file association thing, the file name association thing. Are you good with that? I'm assuming
He has
most people are
he has it set up so that certain file extensions open with a specific program. In this case, it would be Sublime as a default.
Yep. So these file name extensions, why they're there, why they're important, is we can associate a file name extension with a program, an application, executable code that can use that as data.
Like jar files and Minecraft Java.
Yes. Yeah. So what I did at some point was to come in here, and if you right click on a file and say open with, Windows is going to suggest programs that it thinks can handle that type of file.
It'll suggest that you go to the Microsoft store and download something that won't help.
And yeah, some of these things will and won't work very well with it. If you see what you want there, great. Or you can go to choose another app, and then you get more suggestions. And you can even browse and find some other file there. But now I get the choice for Sublime Text. So let me do this. By default, it would be Notepad. Text, because Notepad is the application that comes with Windows out of the box. So if I did that and I said, do I want to do it just once or always? I'll do it always. Okay, like that. Now what you see, the icon changed.
I knew about it. Yes.
And I don't know what to think about it. So, all right.
And
if
that's how you use Notepad++ for Minecraft. You have to change the files to open with Notepad++.
Yep. Yep. So again, the technical term behind the scenes is we're changing the file association. We're changing of that. So I'm associating these .txt files now with Notepad.
Just assume that you had a different Python. That's all.
No. Yeah. Okay. So now I'm going to put that back. Oh. Notice my Pi files are still associated with my Sublime text editor. You can pick and choose however you want. They don't have to be the same thing. But since the majority of the time that I'm dealing with a Pi file, I'm editing it. I associate it with the editor. You could associate with the Python runtime, and then you can just double click and run it. But I'm editing files much more than I'm running them. And I'm doing it from the prompt, so I associate my Pi files with an editor, not the Python runtime. Okay, let me come back and put this back. Open with, choose another app. Sublime text, always. There we go. Okay. So, I still don't think that I covered. Oops. So, my challenge 2005, which does not work right now, right? If I haven't navigated away, which I think I actually did, come back to my browser. Okay, yeah, I navigated away. So I'm still at level 2000. Okay. And actually, you know what? Why didn't my program work? So up here, my text editor over here.
Oh, that one?
Yeah. So this is what I submitted before. It came back and it said it wasn't what it expected.
Because you didn't do the right words, hello world.
Right. So this is a lesson. Read carefully. Write a Python file to display the text, quote, literally, hello world, including the exclamation. Okay. So, and it is case sensitive. So hello world. Did I put a comma? Yes, I did put a comma in there. So hello, comma, world. Exclamation. Do you want me to try it again without, you want me to try something strong, like without the comma or without an exclamation? You should try, you'll see different. Okay. But this should be right now. I save this. And I come back over here and I continue and say, okay, submit the solution to level 2000. It is the challenge 2000 code. It sent it. I waited long enough. And I passed. Now, here's a little thing that I would consider it a bug. Certainly not a very good user experience. The level still says 2000 here.
Oh.
I haven't updated it. It probably, when it passes here, it should probably update. That would be nice. But if I continue, and get the next challenge with it, yeah, I'm at level 2005. Little things that,
You don't think about.
yeah. Okay, so this challenge is to write a Python script to accept a value from stdin, assume the value represents a name, write the standard out, write to stdout a format string hello, in quotes, hello, comma, space, in quotes, followed by the name input. Again, use only input and print built-ins. No user-defined functions, no imports. Again, if the things that I say no to don't make any sense, that's fine. Don't worry about it. But what we do need to figure out is what's this stdin thing? What is this stdout? Well, we learned that in the last one, standard out. And we know that's where the print comes from. I'm saying this optimistically. Let me know too. So we need to figure out what this input thing is and what these format strings are all about. So now I will come over here and I think I will jump into, oh, no, I don't want to do that. I'm going to start from scratch. Okay, so I'm going to open up PowerShell. I'm going to change directory to wherever I think I should be. And I'm going to, start Python. Again, on some systems, Py is good enough. Sometimes you have to do Python. You might have to do Python 3 to get it to work. But I am now in interactive mode. I can type, every time I enter a single Python statement, it will automatically read it, evaluate it, print something, and loop. It's what we call REPL. So whatever I do here, I can pre-plan that. I can save that into a text file and then run it all together. Does that make sense? When we do something here, like for example, if I say print quote hello comma world, it did it. As soon as I hit enter, it evaluated the expression and it printed the result of the expression. So for your challenges, you write this code to a file instead. Instead of typing it in interactively, you write that to a file, save it to a file, like this. And then,
And that's just so that the program can pull the file and do it automatically? That's just what we're, okay.
So
because let me.
the only part I'm confused about is how do you print it to a file? Because what I'm working with, I can't seem to figure out how to save from it. So I don't know if I'm doing something wrong.
Well, that sounds like, what program are you using?
The what I showed you yesterday, the Linux on here.
Oh, okay.
Remember?
You're doing it from the CLI. I just want to make sure you weren't using an IDE.
No,
Because if you use an IDE, then you have to learn that IDE, and I have to know which one it is. No, with what you're doing, bear with me for a second here, because I'm going to say print the literal string GOOD by. And the quotation marks and the parenthesis, and it does it. But I had to enter in each of those statements separately. And it waited for me to enter them in. I'm in interactive mode. What I can do is, if I'm editing a text file, so whatever editor you want to use, I pre-plan and I say, okay, after printing hello world, print goodbye. Some editors will, if you type an open quote, it'll automatically type the second quote, or a bracket, it'll automatically do the closing one, kind of like that. I go back and forth in my head. Sometimes it's nice and convenient, and other times it's a pain in the butt. But that's what was happening there. If you're trying to kind of figure out what I was typing.
I think it was Tab that does that, right?
Tab is an autocomplete. So if you hit Tab, then it'll look back through its history of what you've done and find something that kind of matches and try to complete it. That was back over here. Over here. I think probably when I started to type pi, it knows grayed out after that is a path, because I'd used this path previously. So I can either continue to type it out, or I can just hit my arrow key and it automatically completes the rest of the line, and then I run it.
This also saves previous commands as well.
A lot of programs, like most interpreters, I'll say, a lot of programs, your CLI keeps a command history, keeps a history of what happened.
That's the up and down arrow.
Yes. Okay. So if I'm hitting my up arrow now, going back through commands that I've done in the past. Yeah. So that's another way to do it. And in fact, I know I've been instinctively doing that. But things like SQLite also keeps a history. There's a lot of programs like that keep a history, a command history. I would say most CLIs, interpreters, keep a command history, modern ones, and you can use your up arrow to go back, your arrows, up and down arrows to go back and forth. You can use Tab for autocomplete. And yeah. Okay. So back over here, remember now, here I typed this statement in, I hit enter, it evaluated and printed it. Then I typed in another statement, it evaluated it and printed the result. And then I got my prompt back and it's waiting for another one. Here, what I've done is, in an editor, I've typed both of those into my editor and saved them. I think I saved it. Okay, it's now saved. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back over to Python and quit. And now I'm going to say Python, Python space. So that's the command. And I'm going to give it a command line argument of the name of the file. What did I call it? Challenge 2000. And it runs the file. So it went out and it read these lines from the file one at a time, top to bottom, and executed them as if I was typing them in, with one small difference. What's that?
I wonder what the small difference is.
It's in front of you. It's subtle, but important. It has to do with that REPL thing that I mentioned. And admittedly, that's not a great example. Okay, so.
Question.
Yes.
And I apologize if I'm duplicating anything because I haven't been here for a while in here with you guys. But when we're doing challenge 2005, are we adding to 2000 or was this a whole new file? So like you have two lines there printed as an example, but are we supposed to have hello world and then hello name file, or is this a separate file?
I would consider each challenge its own independent thing. They build on each other. So sometimes you can use what you had, kind of like that. But sometimes they'll be totally different. So I think probably the best thing is to consider them as being totally independent, unique. But again, sometimes it just builds off the previous one.
And then when it says a name as a value, are we just creating, so I could have hello Mary Poppins or hello whatever for the name? It's not our name, it doesn't specify. So it's just, are we supposed to add any name that we want?
I'm going to say yes to that, but I feel like I should provide an example on that. So let me go a couple more steps.
Sure.
What I have done is back here, I said print hello world. And again, I'm in an interactive mode here. So when I hit enter, it read that line, it evaluated the statement, the expression, and then it printed the result of the expression, and then it looped, it went back to do the whole thing again. So I typed in another line, it read that line, it evaluated it, it printed a result. And then it looped and came back for another one, and that's when I said quit. Okay. I'm going to start Pi in an interactive mode. Python has command line history, so I can say print hello world just as if I typed it in. And now I'm going to say X is assigned 7. And no error, nothing got in my face, okay. Now I'm going to say X and hit enter, and it came back and said 7. Okay. And now I'm going to print goodbye like I did before. Okay. So we've got that pattern, right? Which means if I did the same thing over here in my file, then I would say X is assigned 7, and then I would say X. Right? Everybody agreed? Nothing on my sleeve. I don't actually like that. So then I'm going to save this, and then I'm going to go back to my command line interpreter. I'm going to quit out of interactive mode, and I'm going to run that file. Now, there's a clear example of the one subtle difference. What's that?
Why didn't it write out 7? I thought you changed kind of like above when you were in interactive mode and you typed X equals 7 and then you typed X. It printed 7, but it didn't print 7 when you just ran it.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
So in interactive mode, let me come back over here. On the agenda over here. So I mentioned the thing called REPL, which again is read, evaluate, print, and loop. The key there is the print part of it. So it's going to read a statement, evaluate a statement, and it's going to print something in interactive mode. So that's why.
Okay, so because you didn't type print in it, the computer didn't print it out on this screen.
Yes.
Okay.
I didn't tell it to.
You told it to
I
print
didn't.
X, it would put 7.
What's that?
Told it to print X, would it put 7 or just X?
Yes. Yeah. So,
Okay.
So technically, it did call on 7, but it didn't do it verbosely, right? Did I just say that wrong? Verbose. He didn't make it verbose because he didn't tell it to print.
yeah. Yes. Yes.
So you just gave it information, but we didn't get the output.
But I will. What I'll add to that as a subtlety here is that when I run the program from my CLI, the operating system starts a process to run this code. Every process has a notion of a standard input device, a standard output device, and a standard error device. That's what the STDIN is, a standard input device. The STDOUT is a standard output device. By default, the standard input device is essentially your keyboard. The standard output device is your display. That's from the CLI. That's when the process is running. Inside of Python, the interactive interpreter doesn't have that. It prints something all the time, but it prints it to within the interactive mode. It evaluated this statement. So, okay, so it read the statement. It's going to do both. Okay, over here in my file, it's going to read this. It's going to evaluate it, but not necessarily print. And it'll loop, and then it'll go on to the next one. It will only print something if you tell it to.
So in short, it's like it did actually call the value of 7. It's just not printing it out, but it's holding the value of 7.
Yes, it did exactly the same things. Python itself, behind the scenes, did exactly the same things. It read this. The print command said, oh, okay, send the bit pattern for these characters to the standard output device. And Python printed it here. Then it read this statement, and it performed that statement. That is an assignment statement. So what happened is it said, oh, X, do I recognize that? Is that the name of a command or a function that's built into me like print? And the answer is no. So it said, oh, then I'll make it an identifier. I'll assume that you are declaring now that there is something called X. And it will set aside some memory for it. Furthermore, that symbol is not the equal sign that you're used to from math. It is the assignment operator. And what you have to get used to, and I know it takes a while, and you'll resist, but this is an operator. It says to perform an operation. The assignment operation says take whatever is on the right-hand side, evaluate that to a single value, and then assign that to what is the memory for the name on the right-hand side. it might help to say, no, what happened?
I did y equals 2 plus 2.
So x equals 7 equals x. Are those statements the same?
And this,
Is it?
Not until we tell the computer to recognize when we write 7 that the computer says X. So they're they're just two separate things, but we haven't told the computer that 7 equals X yet. That's the program.
I'm gonna sell you X.
Yeah, okay, so I feel like you're saying the same thing. In other words, in your numbers classes, either one of these would have been fine. And they would have meant the same thing because you consider this symbol here as an equal sign, an equal operator that says, hey, you can replace one with the other. They're equal, they're interchangeable. Okay? But this will not work in Python or any other imperative language because it's not an equal sign. It's not saying those two are the same thing. It is saying we're going to do an assignment. We're going to take whatever is on the right-hand side, evaluate it to a single value, okay, X, whatever that is, okay, and assign it to the left. And you can't assign a 7. 7's not a valid identifier. So, more to come. You will happen. But yeah, I'm just saying, get used to the fact that, again, I'm big on readability of code, and I would strongly encourage you to get used to reading that as X is assigned 7 instead of X equals 7. It'll just be more meaningful. Lots of developers say X equals 7. It's not wrong. Well, I mean, technically it's wrong, okay? But people do it all the time. And I'm like, you're just going to make your life and everyone else's a little bit better if you read that as X is assigned 7. I mean, it may take an extra syllable or two, but it'll pay off in the long run. Okay, so the next thing we need to know is that, again, I said that when we run the print function, more than that to come, okay? But when we use print, we're saying, oh, take this argument and send it to the standard output device. So what we need now is a way to get data from the standard input device. And that's going, that will be input something.
Thank you for this.
Sure. Have a good day. Now, what I'm going to do first is I'm going to come back here and say, jump back into interactive mode and say input, quote, something. Well, I forgot the quotes. Let's see what happens. So it's always going to tell me the file it occurred in. Right now, we've only got one file, but we'll have many more later. Okay, the line number in the file where it occurred. It repeats, it echoes out the line where it occurred. It puts the carets under where it thinks the problem is. That is off. That's right, I don't know, maybe 60, 70% of the time. But there will be times when something previously caused the error, and so it's not there, it's previous. But anyhow, and it says, oh, there was a name error. The name something is not defined. So it's trying to tell us it treated something as a name, an identifier. And nothing has ever been assigned to an identifier named something. So I've got two ways to fix this. I can either put quotes around it to make it a literal string, or I can assign something to it. Which do you want to do? Quotes? I'm sorry. More? Oh. Anybody have a preference? It's less intuitive, I think, but since we've already seen that we were talking about X and we were talking about assignment, I'm going to go with that. And I'm going to say that something is assigned. What do you want to assign? What value do you want to assign to something? Okay, here's the basic types that we have to work with. Numbers, strings, and Booleans. Those are the only three types we have to deal with so far. So do you want to assign a number, a string, or a Boolean to something?
Something equals true.
Okay, something equals true.
Draw space.
That's okay. Spaces are there for readability. The machine doesn't care, but that's a good point. I'm glad you brought that up. I'm glad I forgot it. Okay. Remember, every character matters. It starts with the first character, and it sees the S. And then it immediately sees an O, an M, an E, a T. So it's gathering those all up, and then it sees a space. So it says, okay, there was a group of characters. Do I recognize that as an internal command? No. So it's going to treat it as an identifier. The space, if I didn't have it, it's still going to work because when it sees the equal sign, that's a special character. You can't have an equal sign in an identifier. So either way, when it got to the G and read the next character, it said, no longer valid identifier. That must be the end of the identifier. After the equal sign, it's the uppercase T. That's important. Followed by the R, followed by the U, followed by the E, followed by either a space or the end of the line. And so it said, okay, TRUE, do I know what that is? Yes, that's built into it. True and false are built in. So now, if I say input something, what did it do? What is it thinking?
Because something equals true, so it's registering the input as in something is true.
Okay, I'm going to hit enter. I get my prompt back. Although, what the heck is this all about? Those, it may be hard to read, but those are two single quotes with nothing in between them. So it's Python's way of saying it's an empty string. Why would it do that? Well, what if I put quotes around? Either way, it displayed the value of something. It displayed the value of the argument, I should say. Something, it said, okay, it has a value true, so it showed us true. Instead, it returned an empty string. Now, since I made something a literal string of characters, I put it in quotes, it actually printed that, but I still get an empty string.
Sorry.
Go ahead. No, go
I
ahead.
was going to ask if you pressed enter, would it do the same thing because it means the same thing to them.
It did the same thing. Apparently, whatever the argument was in the parentheses to the input function, it displayed it. It displayed the value. So here, when something was true, it displayed TRUE. Here, when it was a literal string something, it displayed the literal string. Okay, so great. You can use print, or I guess you can use input in place of print. Actually, I guess you can. It'd be weird. People would look at you cross-eyed, which makes me want to do it all the more. But input does something that print didn't do. Because remember, when I printed something up here, it printed it, and that was it. But when I use input, it essentially prints this, but then it tells us that there's this empty string someplace from somewhere. And that's because the input function returns that string. Print doesn't return anything to display. So I know that's terrible. How are we doing on time?
Yeah, we're overtime, but
Well, I know, but I mean, like you said 1 o'clock or something, right? We got tons of time.
yeah.
Because I feel like I really need to do this. The first time, one of several times. Okay. Remember rules, 4-letter words I don't like used. JUST. One of the other ones is MATH. Now, only because that invokes a wide range of emotions in people. Some people love math, some people hate math. I'm like, forget about math. Numbers. I love numbers. However, at some point in your numbers class, you might have come across this. F of X. Now, I'm not so sure that everybody automatically, instinctually read that as F of X. We should do a poll. Somebody should do a poll on that. Again, be honest. No, we're all friends here, kind of like this. What does that mean? What does F of X mean to you?
Function of X?
Function of X. Is that breaking the rule? Are you using the word or form of the words in its own definition?
Function of a variable that they gave?
What about, okay. What's that?
I said, well, that's still the word function.
As I was going to pick on, yeah. I said, what about the word function? What does function mean?
What is it going to do?
Okay, yeah. Again, as always, think about the everyday notion. Forget about technology or math for a minute. Okay, the word function, what does it mean? And yeah, it can do something. There's some capability.
Work.
Okay.
If something functions, it works.
Yes. Okay. So why are we using F for function?
I'm going to use the bad word. Are you speaking mathematically?
Yes, because in normal, everyday world, I don't think I've ever used F for function like this.
Yeah.
You've only come across that in your numbers classes, math classes.
Okay, because then we're plugging it in. So if we get an equation with X in it, anything that we give to the F of X is going to be plugged into where the X is in the equation. Just like similarly where we said, use the phrase assigned to. So it's whatever is assigned to X in a given equation.
Okay. You still didn't really tell me why I typed F in that function.
Because it's faster.
What's that?
I said because it's faster.
It is faster, yes. And math people like to use single letters. We will not do that. We'll use more descriptive names. But there's another reason why it's F in that function. And I'm sorry I cut you off.
No, I don't know. Other than just, it's kind of like everybody likes their acronyms and this is a single letter acronym. I don't know.
Okay. Did you ever have a math problem where there were two functions?
Yes. So like underneath F of X, you would have F of Z, or, and then in the equation following, those would be written into the equation and you would have to plug in both of them.
Okay. I'm going to go, I heard Cam say F1 of X and F2 of X. That is what you said, right? I'm not putting words in your mouth.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. I instinctively would have, and now some of this just may be, the way they teach math these days, kind of like that, but I probably would have a G. F of X, G of X. I'm getting Hugo? Yeah, okay. Hugo's agreeing with me. So again, don't argue with me, argue with Hugo on this. Okay. So why F or G or F1 or F2? They're identifiers. They're the names of the functions. that you're giving them.
Function map.
You're saying, oh, there's a function, I'm naming it, I'm calling it F. Or G or F1 or F2 or F3.
So they're just confusing us by saying function of X and saying F of X.
I don't know if they're confused. Well, they probably are. They may be confusing you. I think what really happens is they didn't tell you things because they thought it would be confusing. But it turns out, in the long run, by hiding some of the details and saying, oh, it's just F, loses something. Because this function thing that we're dealing with in Python is really going to be the same essence as a function in math. Every function has to have a name, an identifier. Whether you use a single letter or not, that's up to you. Whether you use F1, F2, F3, or whether you use F, G, H, I, J, K, that's up to you.
You don't need to bring all the letters into this.
I'm just saying, if you want more than one function, what are you going to call it? Well, you can number them, F1, F2, F3, but at least historically, what we used to do is say, okay, F for function, that kind of makes sense. But then if you need a second one, where do you get the second name from? Oh, alphabet, G. You need a third function? H. Nice, simple one-letter names. Again, we will name them descriptive of what they do. Okay. Did you ever have a function of two variables? And what would you do?
It's been a
It's like
minute.
3 years ago.
Okay, but I think what you would do is you would put a number of variables inside the parentheses. In fact, why do the parentheses exist?
To educate that it's like in that terms, it's different than like fx or y. It's how you indicate that the x and the y are supposed to be together.
Why don't I just do that? Why don't I just do that for f of x? Why bother typing a couple of extra symbols?
That's different. That's different.
Well, because then you're implying that f is multiplied by x.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So it's confusing with
That's
multiplication.
in the
Okay.
math in that form, but I don't know about in this form.
Um,
In the number.
I would say there's a few. It's confusing with multiplication. Maybe how do you know that you're not trying to say f times x? It could be that maybe you were being a renegade mathematician and we're using two letters for the name. You meant fx to be the name. So there's some confusion there. So I will admit that the parentheses do help with avoid that confusion.
Well, to be fair, f of x also looks like f times x, so I guess that doesn't mean.
And you're right. Yeah, we use, yeah, okay, so that doesn't help actually. So in function notation, the parentheses, and maybe I should also say here, what's the big idea? What's the whole idea behind a function? Why do we have functions? What are they, Graphing? Okay. Tell me more. We're getting there.
It's what you do. A function is what you do with an object or in this case a code. It's what you want the code to do.
Okay. You started to say something and you hesitated. Do you know what you started to say?
Maybe.
You started with a p. You said with a function you put in, I think is what you were going to say, right? Okay. Yeah. So functions have input. We put something into them. Why? To get something out of them. So the parentheses are there to say what the input to the function is. Whatever immediately following the name, inside the parentheses, that's input to the function. Anything outside of that is not. Okay. And so now we're saying the input to the function can be a comma separate list of things. Doesn't have to be, can be more than one thing. Okay. So what if I said f of 3? I put 3 into the function.
Well, 3 is your input, so then in that sense, when you would get I was gonna say all the inputs.
I'm waiting to see what you get. I want to know, what do you get when you put 3 into this function named f?
Oh no, let me tell you, because I honestly don't remember.
It's a trick question.
It probably is just 3, but I don't remember, so.
I love the expression.
I don't remember how you do this.
I'm not going to make it. Oh, go ahead. Here.
Just 3. I mean, there's no function.
It's a.
There's no
What do you mean there's no function?
There's no form.
There is no function. It's just 3.
You don't get a different number.
The function is 3.
It's a trick question, and I think you're onto it when you said there's no definition of the function. We don't know what it does. It takes 3 into it, but what does it output? We haven't said. It doesn't work until you say something like f of x is assigned, I don't know, I'll do x plus 3. Now you have a definition of the function, so you can use it, or what we will refer to as calling the function or invoking the function. You have to define it before you can call it. So I'm going to cop that out of there, paste that there. And now you can say, oh, that notation says evaluate this function f as x plus 3, passing, again, this is terminology we would use, passing 3, the argument 3, in for the value of the parameter named x. Because then that says, okay, x is going to have a value of 3 this time. You add 3 to 3, and you get 6. And that is the return. That's the output of the function. Or you might say y is assigned f of 3. And again, you evaluate this expression. You say, okay, there's a function named f. I need to know what it is. Has it been defined? Yes, it was defined right up here. Okay, so 3 is my argument. And remember, it's an assignment. I do the right-hand side first, completely. So I find the function named f. I pass the value of 3 in for x. That causes the evaluation of 3 plus 3. It returns the result. And so this all evaluates to 3, which is the value that gets assigned to y.
So was y 6 then?
Y is an identifier, variable name, with the value of 6. Yes.
Sure.
Oops. Ah. Okay. I can't resist, so bear with me. This is getting like several challenges ahead. Okay. But I can't resist now. And I will come back to I'll come back to this in a moment. Because now I feel like I've just got to do the same thing here. So I'm going to say def, short for define. F of x, like we did over there, but I'm in Python now, interactively, okay, yeah. Colon. The colon is a special character in Python that says there are one or more statements, a group of statements following. Okay, so I hit enter, and notice Python comes back with an ellipsis, 3 dots, not the angle bracket and not an error message. That's Python's way of saying, okay, you're speaking to me. You've given me a partial sentence, a fragment. Go ahead and complete it. Okay. I hit a tab. Okay, that's required in Python. I'm going to hit tab, and then I'm going to say return x plus 3. Return is a keyword in Python that says, okay, do this evaluation and return it. It's the output of the function. Replace the function call with the value that's returned. I get an ellipsis because, again, I could continue with more statements. If I just hit enter, Python's happy with that syntax and says, okay, this function has been defined. In fact, if I say F now, enter, it's a little cryptic, but what it says is, Python says, hey, I know F. I know the name F. It's a function, and this represents the memory address of where it is. So it took that definition, stuffed it into memory in case it ever needed it, in case it was ever called on. So now I'm going to say F of 3. Oh, I didn't mean to do 3. It does. And again, my main point here is if you learn this in math, or when you learn it in math, whatever, the idea is the same. Functions are functions. It's a way of mapping input values to output values. You might recall the domain of a function. Anybody? Sound familiar? The domain of a function? D-O-M-A-N-E. No? Okay. It's yeah, you're trying to figure out, oh, which side is he talking about here? What's the other side? What's that? Oh yeah, everyday definition of domain. Yeah, like, I don't know, use the word domain in a sentence that has nothing to do with this stuff. I mean, we're
The domain.
this class, this course forms a domain. We're all in the domain of this course. Yeah, so there's some boundaries. Okay. So what is the domain of a function? What's within the boundaries of the thing for a function that we call the domain? If it helps, I thought you were going for, when you were doing like this thing, which side is it? What's on the other side of this domain? And is it a codomain or a range? That was my hint. Maybe Torlin. And mathematicians, sometimes they refer to it as domain, sometimes the codomain, sometimes the range. Depends on how and when you learned it. That didn't help a bit, did it? Okay. Essentially, the domain is the input, and the range or the codomain is the output. And what a function is doing is it's mapping one to the other. It's saying, okay, take a range, take a group of symbols and map those to a group of output symbols. Didn't help a darn bit, did it?
Little, but not really.
In other words, in our function here, we're saying map any value of x, any number of x that you input to it, that is going to map to that number plus 3 in the output. So you could think of, oh, okay, what are all the possible values of x? Well, Python understands real numbers, and we're going to have to get used to it. Although we call them floating point numbers, call them floats. So, But people like integers. So okay, fine. Let's keep it simple and say 0, 1, 2, 3. If we think of those are part of the domain. Those are possible input values. And 0 is going to map to 3. 1 is going to map to 4. 2 is going to map to 5. 3 is going to map to 6, and so on. Okay.
Well, X could be anything. In this context, it can be any number.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
That's
it's
fine.
essentially it's an infinite set.
May I ask a quick question?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
I'll be the judge of whether it's quick or not, but you can ask.
In that realm, X could be negative or positive numbers.
Yes.
In this, does it matter, or does it have
And
only
okay.
be positive?
Good question. An integer is an integer is an integer.
Okay.
The definition of an integer is it includes positive and negative numbers.
Well,
And
I
zero
didn't know
and
if,
zero.
like putting it in a computer, you couldn't have like -3 be your
Well, that's why I said it understands real numbers. We call them floats and so on. But let's see. First of all, let's do this. Let's go all the way back. What is a natural number?
Oh, anything normal, like not like a decimal.
and
No, I mean
natural,
like,
normal,
like
yeah.
like
Okay.
a decimal, like nothing
So,
that's a decimal.
what numbers are natural, normal, and what numbers aren't?
0, 1, 2.
Oh, then we have another category called whole numbers. What's the difference of the set of whole numbers and the set of natural numbers?
Oh wait, is natural all numbers and whole numbers are like 1, 2, 3, and then you got
Whole
like
numbers are numbers that don't have decimals.
yeah. Well, technically,
Well,
every number
natural
has a
numbers don't
decimal.
either.
It's just the decimal is right at the end, and it's not like 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1 or 0, 1 or 0, 1, 2, 3. It's different like that. That's different.
So, yeah. There's no fractional part. There's no decimal part in either whole numbers or natural numbers. Because natural. Do you naturally just think of
Above?
what's that?
Is natural
No.
above 1 and above?
Which is it?
It's
1 and above. Because is 0 natural? Not really. Whole numbers include 0. So whole numbers are essentially the natural numbers because nobody naturally started counting. That's one of the issues we always have in here is the computer with the machine in programming, we will start counting with 0. But you're not used to that. That's not natural. So natural numbers, 1, 2, 3, no fractional part, no 0. It's unnatural. But whole numbers include 0. What neither one of them include are negative numbers or fractional parts. So integers then are the whole numbers plus the negatives. Integers, positive and negative, and 0.
Okay.
Real numbers include fractional parts to the numbers. And I'll have a whole tirade on this. When you first learned about numbers back in elementary school, you probably learned about fractions. I hope that hasn't changed, okay? You learned fractions. And then you learned about this decimal point thing, this decimal thing. And somehow, for some reason, that took over. That is very unfortunate. Fractions are great.
Just not percentages. Get percentages out of my face.
Fractions, great. What do they deserve?
Exactly.
Because
Made to make decimals feel more complicated.
I don't know why that happened. I would say decimals are actually maybe more complicated. Fractions aren't that complicated. It's division. But here's the thing. With a fraction, you can express numbers that you can't express with decimal form. half 0.5, I'm okay with that. What about 1/3?
1/3 is 0.3333 repeating.
Repeating?
Yeah.
How long does it repeat?
Infinitely.
Infinitely. You can't express that easily.
You put a line.
That's a heck of a lot more hard.
That's why
More hard.
2/3
That's a heck of a lot more work
is
than saying
0.666
1/3.
repeating.
1.33 y.
Okay. Try and type an overbar.
Nah. Just assume it's repeating.
No, we'll find some more use and things, but
Just can't even type a fraction easily. You have to do division.
um, that's okay. I understand that it's controversial. I take it as a personal challenge to make you see it my way.
I don't like division. Fraction is fancy division.
Okay, that just means I have my work cut out for me, but I'm up for the job. I will. Okay, where am I going with all this now? Yeah, as much fun as that is, I'm going to come back here and I'm going to say, what does that have to do with this? The answer I'm looking for, which how would you know, is that input is a function. The parentheses immediately following it are the indication that it's a function. Anytime you
something by this?
Yeah.
There's a point to this?
I like to think there's a point to all of it. It just sometimes takes a while to develop it and get all the way back around the tracks. But
So print and input, those are all, I was going to ask you what the term is because I'm trying to learn the term. So the term for the input and the print that you said we can use for 2005 is function.
Oh, 2005 change. Okay. Yes, what I'm suggesting here is this notion of a function is prevalent in programming as well as in math. And the essence is the same. You've got an identifier, you've got a name for the function to identify it. It takes input and it produces some output. So print was a function that took some input and sent that to the standard output device. Input is a function that will take its input, send that to the standard output device, and take input from the and then take in return input from the standard input device. I'll clarify that in a moment, but let me just say this. Here's a pattern you can count on. Whenever you see an identifier, immediately followed by parentheses. No other operator stuff, because that will change it. But if you see a name, an identifier, immediately followed by an open parenthesis, it's function. Now, remember, we define functions and we call them. Right? So we have to get used to the difference. You define them once, you can call them again and again and again. The input to the function, what is between the parentheses, are referred to as arguments. Those actual values are the arguments. The name that you gave in the definition is a parameter. So x is a parameter of this function x. When we call it, we pass it a value, an argument, as the value of x. The function returns something, and that's the issue, is that with input, we haven't done anything with the return. But that's where this empty string came in. That was what the function returned. Now that I know that, I'm going to assign the return value to something. So I'll say stuff is assigned, call the input function, pass it a string of something. It can be anything. I shouldn't use the same thing. Okay. Anything. It has sent that argument of this literal string anything to the standard output device. It's being displayed. It's waiting for the input. It's waiting for something from the standard input device. So if I said, coffee. It returned the string coffee and assigned that to stuff. So if I now say, hey, stuff, it's a string coffee. You'll probably want to replay that last little bit there like a dozen times to straighten out in your head arguments, parameters, return, call, return, all that terminology. Okay, one more thing you're going to need for 2005, level 2005, is if I say print coffee, no, yeah, well, okay, I'll go ahead and do that. What's going to happen if I say print coffee?
Will it give you stuff because stuff is coffee? No, it'll give you just coffee back.
No, it's assignment.
won't
It's not
do it.
equals. They're
There's-
not equal. Go ahead, Deb.
There's no quotations. So it's not going to print it, is it? Because you're not saying print exactly coffee.
So I didn't say print literally these characters. I didn't put in quotes. So therefore, without the quotes, it's going to see COFFEE, no quotes. It doesn't recognize that as an internal command, so it's going to treat it as an identifier.
Yeah.
And it's going to say, do I know what coffee is?
No.
And the answer is no. I've never told it what coffee is. And Isabella just realized that she was saying it. This is assignment, not equals. So coffee is not the same thing as anything. Anything has the value of coffee, but it's not bidirectional. So if instead I said print stuff,
Then it'll print coffee.
now it looks at what's inside of here. It's not in quotation marks, so it's not a literal string, STUFF. Oh, it must be an identifier. Well, it's not a command, I know. It's not something built into me. I'm Python now. So it must be, the only other possibility that would make sense is if it was an identifier. Do I know STUFF? Oh, yes, it was assigned a value back here. And so it prints, displays, sends to the standard output device the value of print of stuff, which is the literal string coffee. How are we feeling with that? Okay, let me just say this while I'm thinking of it. For Challenge 2005, you do not need to make a function. We're using the print function that's built in. Okay, you just need to call it. Okay, so now that's great. It prints coffee, but what if I wanted to print something more meaningful? Like stuff is coffee, or coffee is stuff. Well, the problem is, if I said stuff is coffee, what's going to happen?
You haven't defined stuff as coffee.
We're back
It's
to
not
that issue. Oh, whew. We just learned something fantastic by that. Right? What did and what didn't it have a problem with?
It was fine with stuff. Coffee it didn't like. Because coffee is
Look again and look more carefully.
Well, stuff is, but
Oh! Stuff is? Did you say stuff is or did you say stuff is? Was there a pause? Was there a space in between there or not? Yes, there is. There's a space there. So stuff is one word, identifier maybe. It's either a command, it's either an internal built-in command, or it's a identifier. And then there's a space. So is something separately. It did not have a problem with stuff. Why not?
It knows what stuff is.
Because we've defined it. It did not have a problem with is. Why not? It's a built-in. Python,
Yeah,
it's in the vocabulary language.
You just have to give coffee a definition.
But coffee it doesn't know about. It's not built in, and we didn't define coffee.
Turn coffee into tea. It'll be funny.
Ooh, I like that. I like that.
Make coffee equal tea because I think it'll be funny.
Okay. So you're saying coffee is assigned tea?
Yeah, because it'll be funny.
Okay. And now I issue that command again. This is beautiful.
What?
This is the comparison.
Oh, is it because stuff is coffee and coffee is tea, so it's false because they're not the same thing?
Yeah. Remember, is a built-in. What in the heck would is mean in the language?
It's a comparison.
It's a comparison. Again, be careful. It's not really equal. It's a comparison. We'll have to get used to that. Okay. The real question, though, is what is it comparing?
Stuff to coffee. And
Technically coffee to tea because stuff is coffee. That's so confusing. It's technically stuff is currently coffee because I was comparing coffee to tea and say reporting false.
And they're not the same word.
So it's going to get mad.
Okay.
It's not wrong.
It is not wrong.
And you are not wrong, but you're not complete either. That's another thing. Okay, you're just right, but there's more to it. What is it comparing? What is it actually comparing? Is it actually comparing STUFF with COFFEE?
No.
No, it's comparing the values. That's a key. It's saying, is the value of stuff the same as the value of coffee? Because stuff and coffee are clearly different. So little subtleties. It is confusing. Okay. But now, okay. And yeah, so either way, STUFF is not the same as COFFE, but neither are the values the same. So either way, it ends up being false. Okay. Oh, that was good. Now, what I was intending to do is to print out something more nice. Instead of just printing out the value, I wanted it to say, like, stuff is coffee. Well, I get a syntax error.
Perhaps you forgot a comma?
Oh, okay. So when Python gives you an error, it will try to suggest what it looks at what you did and looks at its patterns that it knows and says, it's kind of close to maybe if there was a comma in there.
What it does for me is it loves to say, like when I type out some variation of things, it'll say perhaps you meant slice, but then if I type slice, it gives me the class slice, but then when I do anything with it, it's like, no, it doesn't recognize that. And I did the thing you told me, and then it didn't do the thing.
So, okay,
but
so
my Python thing is dumb anyway. When I come back, because right after 1200, I have to go to an interview at Student Life, and then hopefully when I'm done with that, I'm gonna try to come back and hope you're still here and have you look at it, because it's something is wrong and I cannot figure out what it is. And then I also can't figure out how to save because it will not let me.
Okay. We'll figure that
Because
out.
I want to upload the assignment, but it won't let me do anything. So
Right. Right. Yes. So we will do all that. But the thing is, we're trying to learn to speak to Python. Okay. And it's close-ish, kind of, sort of to English, but it's not English.
Yeah.
So, it's interpreting what you're saying a little bit differently than what's used to be. It's trying to give us a hand. And I will say right now, so those suggestions are not always correct, as Isabella can attest to. But suppose it was, if Python thinks that maybe there would be a comma in there, where would you put a comma? Where would it make sense? And again, where would it not make sense to put a comma?
Would it be right after the second set of quotes? Because that's so right there. Yeah, right there.
Yes. I will take exception to the fact that you said second set of quotes. There's only one set of quotes.
Sorry, I meant the second quotation mark. Sorry.
I can't, don't be sorry. It's not allowed. I'm telling you. We're just here to get all this down. But you're right. And I would love to go into why did you know that? How did you know that?
I just guessed because of the stuff we've done earlier that we would do the comma afterwards.
Do you know what you said?
I didn't say it, I swear. I said earlier stuff. I didn't say just.
You did. You did.
No,
you did. I've got video recording for
stuff we did earlier. I promise you I did.
You did.
I didn't say just.
Now you made. Now I forgot what it. Shoot, that was great. I gotta find that because it was great. Oh no, you said.
I didn't realize
you said it was just a guess.
Oh.
You did. Yeah, you did. And I'm
that could be what I did because I didn't even process that.
No, you did. But here's the thing. I'm taking exception, not less actually to the fact that you used the word just, and more the fact that you said it was just a guess. It wasn't a pure guess. You've learned things. You know things now that tell you, yeah, that's where it would probably make sense. And I guarantee 2 days ago, 3 days ago, that
I didn't know that.
You would not have made that guess. You would have had nothing to bet. So again, we've learned all kinds of stuff already. Yes, because what would happen if I put the comma over here?
That's going to be part of the string.
That's part of literal string. Yeah, okay.
It doesn't change anything.
What does it mean if I put the comma here?
It's a second indicator.
It's separating. Yes, it's separating this literal string from the identifier coffee.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, maybe that makes sense because maybe this is a function of two variables, if you will. I think
stuff is tea.
And it actually worked, kind of like we expected, except there's a subtlety there. It did something extra.
Add an extra space.
Yeah, I can see you guys are noticing the extra space there.
Because it's space coffee, or because its stuff is space and space coffee.
So when you call print, you can pass it a comma separated list of values. It will automatically put a space between them, each one, between each value.
Cool.
So we didn't need stuff is space.
So one way to fix that would be to do this.
Ta-da.
Yeah, that kind of sort of works. This is the old style. The better style is what we call formatted strings. So I'm going to take that literal string and I'm going to put an F in front of it. That makes it a format string. Now what happens is there are special characters we can use. So I'm going to make this entire thing the string. And if I simply do that, it printed just as before. But if I come in and I put curly braces around coffee, those are special characters that says, oh, what's inside the curly braces
stuff is coffee tea.
Is an identifier.
Oh, it did still do tea.
Replace the identifier, replace coffee with its value.
Yeah. Okay. That also makes sense.
And I don't know, maybe that was somebody's name they typed in after hello or something.
That makes sense, but our values really makes this confusing. It does make sense though.
Oh.
Or rocks and potatoes.
Which begs the question, what is good code?
It's Tom and Jerry rocks potatoes. You'll understand when you watch the earlier videos. It's rocks and potatoes and Tom.
Well, actually, I don't know. Micaiah, are you taking Computer Essentials? Have you taken it?
I believe I have. Most likely. I can't remember. It was years ago.
But you're not taking it this semester?
No.
Okay. So the Tom and Jerry thing that people are talking about are something we did in Essentials, and there's people that are taking both.
Mm.
So
I'm pretty sure I did Essentials at some point.
Well, I'll just throw out. In fact, I think I put the link in here. But if you ever want to refresh, see what's going on in there, I'll gladly send you the link, and you can join the Discord for that.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Trying to think. I posted one inside the other, but I don't remember which one I did. But I will do it again because I don't remember where it was. It could have been a while ago.
That's all right. When you get around to it.
Okay. Just if I forget, don't hesitate.
Yeah, I'll shoot you a message. Be like, hey, remember that other Discord?
Yeah. Cool. Okay, so I feel like that might actually be a place to pause.
That sounds good.
I guess I say it because I think in my mind, you now have the knowledge that you need to complete Challenge 2005.
Oh, gee, I don't know.
Yeah. So here's the thing. Give it a try. Oh, I know what I need to do. Why do I keep hitting draw IO? Come on, close. Yeah, discard change. Discard change. I didn't even do anything. Trying to get my editor over here. And I don't know if it's exactly a rule or not, but it's more of a philosophy. I like broken stuff. So you can write some code and it can work. And I'm like, great. Pat on the back. Yeah. Now, if you write some code and it's broken, that I want to see. Either that fell extremely flat, or the internet broke, or maybe you guys had to step away.
You like broken code.
Yeah. So when it doesn't work, remember, you can't bang your head 3 times anyhow. When you do something that doesn't work, post it. Post the error message. Post the code, post the error message, post something about it, kind of thing. Screenshots or files, whatever, but post it. And we will learn more working through error messages, like we were doing here, than we will just seeing good code. You type it in, it works. Yeah, okay, great. But when we actually have to debug it and read these error messages, we'll learn a lot more. Okay, last call. Anything you want to discuss?
I'm all right.
I've given you enough. You feel satisfied for today, at least?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you're too easy to please. Deb, did you want to say
Just some weird questions? Level 2005.
Yes.
If or when I figure that one out, is it like 2010, or is there a bunch of 2005s for this week, or how does that work?
No, each level is a sequential number. They're not always the same increment. like we had 2000, this is 2005. The next one I think is 2010, then 2020, 2030,
Oh, okay.
kind of thing. It's just when I was making them, I allowed myself to go back and squeeze things in between. So it'll
Okay.
present the levels sequentially. But like I made 2000, I made 2010, and I realized, oh, I should have stuck something in between there. So I made it 2005.
Okay.
At some point, they're going
But
to
it,
jump for like, oh, go ahead.
but it's not like we have to do all of these this week, or how does that progress?
Oh, I think you had to step away at one point like that,
I
but
did. I had the meeting earlier.
yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I had said there are 42 or will be 42 of the challenges
Oh, wow.
total. Okay.
Total for the whole class?
Yes.
Okay. That's good to know.
Why 42?
Yeah, why 42?
Because the semester is 14 weeks long. And 14 times 3 is 42. So therefore, if you did 3 of these a week, by the end of the semester, you'd be done.
Okay.
Now, so that was my intent, was 3 of these a week. Now, I don't have drop dead dates on them, kind of thing. There's no due dates necessarily. I leave it up to you to get yourself into a pickle or not. Yeah, so if you procrastinate, it'll pile up, and they do get harder. I mean, I don't know if I should have said that because you're probably feeling like these are hard enough now, but they do get more involved. So you will want to try to keep up. I will do my best to stay a little bit ahead. So each week I'll try to make sure that I at least give you enough to do the challenges for the week, and then we can do extra stuff beyond that.
Okay.
The challenges get a little bit more difficult, but there's, in the big scheme of things, I know this is going to, hopefully this doesn't freak you out too badly. In the big scheme of things, they're not very difficult, but you're just learning. In other words, the challenges are based upon the course learning outcomes, and only that. All this other stuff I talked about, and I hope that we do, like building a student app and so forth, and databases and things, that's actually beyond the scope of this course. So the challenges are the basics only, and then we can spend the rest of our time doing other things. Does that make sense?
It does.
Okay.
I think I started asking this earlier before I had to leave, so I'm not sure if it was gotten into. Just to wrap my brain around what the next challenge is, it talks about representing a name, a value that represents a name. So are we putting in a random name for hello, comma, name, because it says followed by the name of the input? Or
Yes.
Okay.
So when you run and test your program, these are good questions. I didn't really say to everybody. When you run and test your program before you submit it, you just type in some random name. Because when I run your program, my system is going to enter random characters. But it'll check to see that you displayed the same random characters that it input.
Okay, so it depends on what you've already put into your Python. Well, is this running out of Python? Yeah, it's bringing it from Python. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm
my
probably
system
using the wrong
basically,
terminology.
my system will upload your code and run it.
Based on your own input.
Yes.
Okay, so
And
my code, it's going to look different on my screen based on what I put in for my input, and then when you run it on yours, it's going to use your input.
Yes.
Okay.
And I should say the input is random, so it'll be different every time. So if you try it a few different times, the values will be different.
Oh.
So don't run it once, see what it says it was expecting, and put that in, because next time it'll be expecting something different.
Okay. I'm gonna have to go through and watch this whole thing a few times because I'm not certain on how to use the input yet. So I will, I will be looking at this a while.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, like I said, we covered a lot of ground, a tremendous amount of ground. I don't expect anybody to, just completely understand it from what we've talked about. You're gonna have to look at it, play with it, review, scrub around in the video, kind of thing like that, a number of times. I will just reiterate once again the rules, that you are not allowed to bang your head 3 times. So try it, play with it, but
Is
when you
4
have
okay?
no, because if you can't do 3, then you can't do any more than that. You'd have to do 3 to get to 4, and so you can't do that. I love logic, and I know you do too.
Yes.
But yeah, the point of that is don't get stressed and anxious and goofy about it. The other thing I like to help is always a Discord message away.
Yes.
The other thing I will say, and I should say to everybody, but it's in the video, okay? If anybody's still hanging in here, once you post a message in Discord with a problem, you are off the hook. You don't have to do anything until somebody responds.
Okay.
So ask questions. Like I said, as soon as you've asked the question, you're saying, I don't know, help me out, then you're off the hook. You don't have to do anything until somebody responds.
Okay. And I'm gonna start a couple documents for notes on my end, but I want to make sure I have the right terminology. Functions include, so far that we've gone over, print and input.
Yes.
Those are the only 2 that we've worked with.
Yes.
And then built-ins include things such as the equal sign, the word is, a comma. Is that all accurate so far? Are the
Yes.
quotations built-ins?
I'm going to say yes.
Either single or double?
I'm going to say yes, because for what we're doing right now, I'll clarify a little bit of terminology later, but yes, you've got the right idea.
Okay.
And then those all have special meaning to Python.
Okay. Do the parentheses have their own defining name? I don't know what else to say. Or are they considered just part of the function, or are they considered a built-in?
That is a really good question. Really good question. So on one level, parentheses are those symbols. They actually have multiple meanings, though. They mean different things at different times.
Depending on how you use them?
Exactly. Which is why it was subtle. And so I don't necessarily expect everybody to realize it makes sense. But when I come back over here, I said, and I don't know if you hear that, whenever you see an identifier, like print, immediately followed by an open parenthesis, it's a function. But if there was something else, like an operator or something in between there, that changes the meaning.
Between print and the parenthesis? Because the computer has to read what's between there first?
Yeah, like if I did, I don't know, this.
What does that change it to? What does the plus sign mean?
Take a guess. What do you think plus means?
Well, adding 2, this and, it means the word and?
Combining, adding 2 things together. So that's going to say, oh, I need to look for something called print, and I need to evaluate this expression, and then combine them together. Which may or may not make sense. In fact, actually, in this case, it won't make sense. But
it doesn't change the output for that, right? Because you're saying print and... Oh, it does change. Very. Unsupported. Okay. Because you don't want it to print and do that. You want it to just print that. So you would have to delete the and, the plus.
I wanted to call the function named print. The fact that I put that addition operator in there separates print from the rest of it.
Okay.
And so it's print alone, not print the function.
Okay.
Well, I'll do this first. Notice in its help, it's saying like, what could you have possibly meant by this? And it says, oh, I have a built-in function or, no, I don't have one. I thought it said print. It doesn't say print there. But it's saying unsupported operand types for a built-in function. So it's assuming that you were trying to call the print function, but saying, nah, that doesn't work.
Okay.
And we'll deal with the types and operands and stuff later. But again, this is where there's a lot. There is gold in this message here. Yeah, such beautiful stuff we can learn from that. I'm not sure that this is the moment, but
I'm going to need a bigger notebook, Joe.
Is it bad that I enjoy that sound of that? I'm like, oh, I'm picturing with this like gigantic notebook now. Yeah,
It's great.
She got his money's worth out of this course.
Loving this. I've always wanted to dig into the beginning because I felt, I always felt like I missed so much because it was my generation where it all happened. And I never got to dig into this. So this is, I'm loving it. So thank you.
Cool. Great. One more thing I will suggest.
Sure.
I think, who was it? Was it Cam or somebody put some notes? Or was it you?
I added some, but I wasn't the first.
Okay, yeah.
And then I think someone added some later as well.
When you had some, but what I'm getting at is, I think that's a fantastic idea. I think
absolutely.
Imagine if we all combined our notes in here. I'll take my cue from you. If you think a channel or a forum, what would be the best way to do it? But I think if we all contributed to one big, massive notebook, if you will.
Sure. It really helps. Whoever posted something after mine, they added things that I didn't think of to write down. And it helps to keep me on point too, because if I've missed one character means such a big thing in this class.
Yes.
So if there's something that I did wrong, I was the first person to say, please correct me if any of this is wrong, because I don't want to take away something that's incorrect. And it's a great forum to be able to keep each other on the right track, for sure.
Yes. We will all pick up different things. And that's why I say, if we combine everything that we pick up, we'll probably get to most of it, if not all of it.
Yeah. Okay. Oh.
Yeah. I feel that.
I feel like I missed so much because I was gone for like an hour or so. So, okay. I will have a lot to look and take more notes on. And, okay, not until 1:45. I felt like I was getting ready to jump right into another one, but it's not until 1:45.
Yeah, we probably ought to take a break. I think I'm going to stop here and maybe get some lunch and decompress a little bit, and then we'll start all over with essentials.
Well, I'll see you soon.
Okay.
Thanks.